Hello. Hello, Draco Kraken. Hello, Dave. Slow evening indeed. I suppose so. I suppose so. Feels like a good day, though, honestly. Um, we got to play Vampire today, and that was nice. And now we get to talk about Vampire today. Oh boy, that's exciting. We don't really get to talk about Vampire too much because most people just make videos on Vampire. Good videos, usually. Or at least review videos, um, that aren't, with, incendiary titles, let's say. So we will see what this entails. But, yeah, hello. I hope you're doing well out there in TV land. Um, the, Aiden should be by at some point soon here. I don't know if Boo will be coming by as well. He said he was feeling kind of tired after Vampire, so we will see. We will see. Apparently, the rumor is you're ruining it. Yeah, well, not just me. Absolutely. Um, hello, Timothy. Yeah, apparently it's a whole generation of people are potentially ruining Vampire. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that interesting? Do I believe it? No. Most of the people that I have seen and heard about that have issue with current Vampire, um, are very much a fan of the previous edition that was a lot more, rules heavy, as well as a lot more, power heavy, as far as I can tell. Current V5, um, is a lot more my style. It's a lot more my speed. It has just enough of like rules and stuff. That it doesn't like, I don't know. It really fits with what I want out of a game. Um, a lot of character stuff. A lot of stuff. I mean, like the powers and everything are a draw, don't get me wrong. Being a vampire is a draw, absolutely, but I want to explore more than the power of being a vampire. I want to explore the toll that it takes on a regular person, you know? Those gosh darn millennials ruining vampire, exactly. Are we watching a rant? Yeah. I don't know. I really don't know. This is a video that comes from the guy who said that vampire is all about being in the mafia or whatever the fuck it was. So we'll see. Well, hello everybody and welcome back to Table Talk Discussion and Discourse. I, as always, am your host, Alejo, aka Great on 95. And yeah, we're gonna be talking about Vampire the Masquerade today, as well as a video that Aiden found. I think. I believe he found it. That was about making D&D more low fantasy, which sounded interesting to me. Um oh, the vampires are the mob guy. Oh no. So I don't know. That's the thing, right? We only watched the one video from this person and didn't really have exceptional things to say, you know. Definitely we were just like, "Oh, okay. Huh. Sure. You can do it this way. I don't think it's the only way. But sure, why the fuck not?" It's not the way that I'm kind of doing it, though. I mean, I guess somebody could make the argument that it's kind of being done in that kind of stead of being a part of the mob or something. I don't know. Hello.
Hello, good sir.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing
For that?
just fine. I have given you the chat link there. Hopefully that works.
Yes, it has. Thank
Good,
you.
good, good. Yes, so I was telling the lovely
How's everyone
people.
doing?
Oh, what's up?
Oh, I was asking chat, how's everyone doing?
Ah, as you should,
What's
as you
good,
should.
Timothy?
Um, yeah, so I was
Oh,
telling the
Aiden
lovely,
is
lovely.
here. Draco.
Yeah,
Hell
I
yeah.
was telling the lovely, lovely people that that this video is about is the same guy who told us that vampires like the mob. Like the mob is the point and all that kind of stuff. Got to run it like it's the mob. Which again, we were like, "Oh yeah, okay. That's a way you can do it. Absolutely." Um it's not the only way, but sure. Why not?
Yes, that is one of your options.
Absolutely. So I was going through because vampire was on my mind for no particular reason, of course. Um and uh and I was like, okay. Um, yeah, so this is ba, 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 ba. Black Lodge Games. Black Lodge Games. Oh, that doesn't need to be there anymore. Um, I mean, this is still active, by the way. The promo code for 20% off if you get all three of the keychains together. That is there. But it doesn't need to be on the screen so much anymore. Um, But yeah, so this is Black Lodge Games saying, "Did millennials ruin Vampire the Masquerade V5 review?" That is the name of the video. Um, Now, as I assume that I am a millennial, I don't remember what the birth years need to be, but I recall that at least in my mind there was yeah, some discussion of I'm technically a millennial, Boo's technically a millennial, and you are towing the line, if I recall.
Yeah, I have like generational dual citizenship. I'm like uh Gen Z or yeah, Gen Z and also a millennial.
Yeah. So, I want to know absolutely what I did to make Vampire the Masquerade what it is today. Because if I'm honest, I really fucking like it. Like a lot. So if me and my generation have caused this to happen, I do not mind that, like, at all.
Yeah, like my B, I guess.
Mm. Like I was saying, it seems like the people who have a problem with current generation vampire, um, way preferred the more combat focused ish kind of thing with multiple, or a lot more power, in the last version, powers and power in general. Which again, that's fine. Don't get me wrong, but this is absolutely my game. Like I way, 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 way prefer this and how everything is done in this system. Not to say that I've played the other system, the other version of the system, but just thinking about it, I would much, 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 much rather have this be the system that I'm running.
Yeah, I absolutely prefer skill rolls in Vampire the Masquerade way, 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 way over 5e.
Mhm.
I think the mechanics of the hunger versus like how many dice your skill gives you
Mhm.
is like really cool.
Yeah, yeah. The dice pools have always been something that I like, and I've not had much experience with it outside of this game. I think there was one other that I played once. But yeah.
If only I played Vampire the Masquerade IRL,
Mm,
so that I could have an excuse to bring out all of my math rocks.
exactly. Um, let's see. Uh, Yoshi down
Or
the hall.
rather, I should say, all of the sets of my math rocks.
Indeed, indeed. Yoshi down the hole Mario gets Mario the goal. That is true. Um, do you still exist? That is true. You do. Uh, Time is money, but money isn't time. Very true. Getting flashbacks to this guy. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't remember most of that video. So we'll see. But hello, Entropy, Viridi, Shin, and Chara. Appreciate you being here.
What's up, guys?
Most of us here should be millennials or Gen Z. Yeah, probably. I don't know. They can tone the gen line too. Cool. Who's taking bets he blames Twilight? I don't know, man. I feel like that kind of hate has, I mean, it's not anything to do with what Vampire is, you know, and like Vampire itself does not have anything that takes from it. So I don't feel like anybody would in their right mind go like, oh yeah, because Twilight exists and it appealed to the millennials that V5 is the way that it is. I mean, hey, you know what? If he proves me wrong, I'll be fine with that because I'll just laugh. It would be really funny. I don't like when people blame an entire generation for something. Well, so this is the thing. This is an inflammatory kind of video title, but I'm suspecting that's what this is going to be. Just a inflammatory title and then just talking about Vampire. Like, if it is, damn, you got me, you know?
I am back. I was AFK a few minutes. Car alarm was going off. I had to make sure it wasn't mine.
Oh, well.
Did I miss anything important?
Nah, not yet. We're getting to it.
Hey.
Sweeping statements bug me, you know? Yes. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's a sweeping statement, but I feel like it's there to drive you to click on the video, you know? That's the face of a guy who's seen some things.
I think is going to be sort of like in did millennials ruin like X or Y or Z?
Right.
All of those articles that we see, it's always like something like economical.
Oh yeah.
So I'm thinking perhaps because we drove Vampire the Masquerade toward like being online, maybe?
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe it caused the franchise to kind of dilute.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
If he does compare Twilight to Vampire, that would be lazy. Yes. All right. Let's see. Let's all sit down, have a nice whatever you got. I currently am drinking a green guillotine, is what I'm drinking, just to have a little bit more caffeine in my system. But it's also green tea, and it tastes great. Oh, love it.
Oh, yeah. I just got water.
Hell yeah. Always go with the classic. And we'll get going here. So here we go. Did millennials ruin Vampire the Masquerade? Oh, that's like very low for me. Hold on. Whoops. I was playing music before. All right, we're good.
You're very intense.
Oh yes, this is a man who has seen some shit apparently.
Night falls over the blighted city, and deep below the streets, a monster emerges from its torpid slumber. We are, of course, talking about the sinister resurrection of one of the most iconic and terrifying tabletop role-playing games ever made. I'm young Steve Buscemi, and welcome to the Black Lodge, where we'll be exploring the latest edition of Vampire.
I really like that. That's very good.
That got a chuckle out of me.
Yeah, that's quite good.
Vampire the Masquerade, and how generation by generation it's captured the cultural zeitgeist of the time. This is a game with a lot of interesting ideas. Some good, some bad, but it's a game I've run many times in the past and will continue to in the future. But does V5 live up to the legacy of the original? And does it have a place in the post-millennial world at all? It's been over 30 years since Vampire the Masquerade was first released during a time of frenetic cultural energy. Sure. Vampire was birthed out of a primordial soup of intersecting countercultures. Goth, punk, rave, and industrial were the youthful voices that declared rebellion against an encompassing corporate dominance which defined the prior decade.
That theming has not stopped being a thing, thankfully. So, I mean, you know.
Yeah. I mean, look at Cyberpunk.
Exactly.
Well, yeah. Less of the goth.
Less goth for sure, but it's still got the core values, you know.
Yeah, it's still got the counterculture.
Yeah.
There was a palpable feeling in the air that where the youth of prior generations had failed to change the world, this generation would finally prove victorious over the old and the ossified. over history itself.
Sure.
In parallel, the impending turn of the millennium had created an atmosphere of approaching apocalypse. The turning of the age brought with it feelings that the world as we knew it was coming to an end, and an uncertainty about what would come in the next age. Vampire crystallized these cultural undercurrents in a frenzied marriage of anti-authoritarianism, revelations of dark and hidden conspiracies, and the apocalyptic spiritualism that pervaded both evangelical Christianity and New Age mysticism. This amalgamation gave rise to a new and unique aesthetic that we now know as Gothic punk. It is a product of a specific moment in history, a moment that has passed. Vampire captures all of this in the conflict between the young and idealistic neonates against their cruel and unchanging elders. Our fears over global consolidation and conspiracy was given the name Camarilla, and this revealed just how depraved our masters were. The neonates feared that the millennial Gehenna would soon be upon them, and that they must battle fang and claw to the last drop of vitae, or be consumed by ancient blood gods. Through it all, though, VTM tried to remind players that we must not lose our humanity in fighting the War of the Ages, lest we become nothing more than mindless beasts. All of that is gone now. Punk is dead, and goth is cringe. Generation X, the people that loved and played this game, wasted that energy and abandon on meaningless struggles. They were LARPing, but were too deluded to know it. So when the apocalypse of the millennium didn't materialize, that energy had been spent, and they instead settled for the Matrix.
But
So is he saying that because a different generation holds different values differently,
right.
and consequently,
Yeah.
those values take up different relative market shares of like the industry, I guess.
Yeah.
And this caused the as you so kindly put, ossification
Good
of
word.
a franchise. I mean, great word.
Mm.
That yes, we did ruin Vampire the Masquerade, I guess, by us not valuing those specific values.
What it was. Yeah.
Yeah, by not wanting to, like, I guess by not valuing that aesthetic as highly.
I guess, well, so to my understanding, because honestly it just started to become word salad to me after a while. Like I was following it, but like I stopped caring halfway through, I'll be honest. It sounds like Generation X who had this game, it was created for them, basically. The counterculture and everything, it was all there. Great. Good. But they never really did anything with it, and so it just kind of failed as like a push, I guess. I don't really know why we're talking about this. Like, I get to a degree of like trying to ground us in where it came from, to then tell us, you know, what it is now. But we could just do that instead of like going into the diatribe, really, of I don't know, they LARPed, but they didn't like understand. It's like, okay, it just feels like, I don't know, the core ideals, like we were talking about, are still present in a lot of different things, and they're still present in what Vampire is today. If you really want to elaborate on them, you can make it even more that way. But like Draco Kraken said in the chat, dude, it's just a game. Like, it is good to have as an expression, I guess, of these kinds of ideas and values and stuff, sure. It's not the intended purpose necessarily, I would say, though it might have been back then, I guess, more so. I don't know. For me, at least now, and this is why it's ruined. It's a fun game that I can explore humanity with, I guess, a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a fun little jaunt, like how to put this? It's no more or less important than any other TTRPG.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really give a shit if D&D died tomorrow. I wouldn't really give a shit if the Pathfinder runs its course throughout for the next like few years and then gets replaced by something else that takes over the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
It's just a game, and that game will never disappear.
No, exactly. Just like the ideas and everything that it can promote. They'll always be there. They'll just be turned into a new thing, or at least expressed a different way. Maybe even the same way. I don't know. True, Viridia. It's never too late to eat the rich. That is true. He is really laying it on thick. That's fair as well. Hello, Pizza Funk. Welcome.
That's good.
Yeah, we LARPed and we lived and we lived and we LARPed. Yeah, just I don't know. I really don't know. I'll be honest. It doesn't really like I don't know. I don't care, I guess, about more than like the foundation, I guess, of what it came from, because what it's used to express is more interesting to me. But I also don't care if a previous generation, quote unquote, failed. Like, I don't know what is supposed to have happened through this usage of vampire, I guess. I don't know. Is that relevant? I don't know. So I might be completely like not following this correctly, I guess.
I guess we'll have to let him speak for himself.
Yeah, exactly. Also, since when is goth cringe now? I assume he's going through the generations, maybe? I don't know.
Goth was cringe in like 2005.
Exactly.
And then like kind of everyone got over it.
Exactly, just like most everything. It's like, oh, this is cringe. It's like, well, enough time passes, they go, actually, it's fine. It's like, oh yeah. It's because it was a change, and now that it's the norm, in some different ways, it's fine. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. Anyway. Goth is always a tad cringe. I mean, yes. Inherently so, yes. Everything is a tad cringe when you look at it for a little too long. I guess. I don't know. We're all cringe. It's fine. Let's all be cringe, eh?
Let's go.
They voluntarily entered the pods. The creators of the game on some level intuited this. In the early 2000s, the World of Darkness came to an end with the Time of Judgment series. All of the White Wolf game lines fulfilled their prophecies of apocalypse, and the company had no stories left to tell in that world.
That's
20
weird.
years later, how have the new developers resurrected a game that was so defined by the moment in which it was made? To recapture the ethos of a previous generation is impossible. The touchstones which characterized the 90s have all eroded away, or have mutated into grotesque caricatures of themselves. So, how can this game recapture the
wait, hold on. So, are you telling me that because Teen Titans Go exists, we've lost something as a society? You know what? I kind of agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold on. I'm coming around.
Yeah, wait a minute. Hey, hold up.
Oh, Scooby-Doo? Okay, wait, now hold on.
No,
He may be cooking.
Now, hold on. Now, wait a second. I'm cringe, and that's not based. I'll never be based, and that's cringe. True. True. That's one hell of a pull, Aiden. Yes, it is, isn't it? That's very good.
Atmosphere of the 90s. The simple truth is, you can't. The developers, to their credit, seem to have realized this. V5 is not gothic punk, and it's not trying to be. The developers realized that in modernizing this time capsule of a game, the cultural underpinnings of that game would have to be reevaluated. This is a nearly impossible task, because to alter the core cultural premise of the game is almost to destroy it completely. They had a very tough row to hoe, and in certain respects they succeeded. This is a great game for immersive role-playing.
Agreed.
With some excellent new ideas. But like its predecessor, it is unwittingly shackled to the cultural moment in which it was made. Gen X are busy raising families and making their mortgage payments. and they've long since checked out of the RPG market. Filling that void.
Okay, well, I feel like you should speak for yourself, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't,
That's a very nihilistic outlook
yeah, I'm sorry, but
toward your hobby.
because I could have kids, that means that I have to just stop enjoying the hobby that I enjoy, I guess. Cool, yeah. I don't have kids, by the way. I'm not your dad.
Are the millennial nerd generation. The individualism of Gen X did not stamp its imprimatur on them. Instead, millennials have become completely atomized, yet somehow fully collectivized. Their loyalties are not to ideas of freedom or rebellion, but to brand identity and uninterrupted comfort. They are steeped in the appleization of all consumer culture and shriek at any rough edges and recoil at the arrival of any learning curve. Their perceived moral superiority as one of the downtrodden butts up against their general allegiance to state and corporate power. They don't see this as a contradiction because, as a generation, they don't have an identity that isn't connected to pop culture icons of the past. They can't live without nostalgia and have to feed on the culture of the previous generation like a vampire to survive.
Dude.
Alright, this is getting a bit word salad.
Yeah,
for me.
what the fuck are we doing? Like, come on.
It really. This video kind of just feels like because society has changed in what they like, in what they want in entertainment.
Yeah.
Vampire the Masquerade has been soiled.
Well, this is the thing. He's even like, it's good, but it has some flaws. And it's like, okay, yeah, why are
Well,
we
homebrew
talking about
exists.
Gen X now? Like, and what they value? I'm like, okay, yes, I agree. They have changed because some people have changed because of families and such, because they now need to focus on other things rather than always being able to play vampire together, you know? Like, yeah, there's going to be some differences, but with the whole, I mean, yeah, some people, I know specifically of one guy who's really into brand, uh and not everybody's like that, so I don't know. I don't know, man. Sure, I guess. I don't, can we just move on to the difference here? Because I don't know, man. Gen X at this point doesn't matter to what vampire is. You said it yourself. It's about the current culture, which is fine because we can have games that are rooted in the current culture. Hell, fucking Cyberpunk 2020 was rooted in the 90s. You can see it in like everything they have.
Hey Alejo.
Hi.
This is in the suggested videos. I'm posting it now.
Okay. What is this?
And like, I kind of find that really relevant.
Stay toxic, boys. That's funny. Generalization much? Yeah, it's generalization, man. He's here. He's telling us exactly what's wrong. Generally. I don't know.
So like this video, like it kind of feels like my response can only be like, okay, sure,
Yep.
we ruined it, I guess.
Well,
Neat.
Yeah, I just, okay, let's keep going. Please get to the actual mechanics and tell me what I did wrong, I guess. I don't know.
Survive. And that is why the youthful charm and adolescent energy is gone completely in this latest edition of the game. It's been exsanguinated of vitality like the victims of the monsters it portrays. Where punk was an organic response to the encroaching chains of the modern globalized world, what we have now has devolved into forced platitudes and poserisms, aping a savage and visceral aesthetic. It has no fangs. The writing in V5 no longer evokes these feelings of rebellion, but tells you what to feel, and who is right and who is wrong. No.
Okay. Now we get to some meat and potatoes.
Yeah. Now, do I feel like Vampire is telling me how to feel? I mean, I don't ever think that these books tell me what I need to be feeling and stuff.
From what I remember of the player's handbook,
Yeah.
uh, or the equivalent,
Core rulebook.
um, yeah, um, everything feels presented very matter-of-factly.
Yeah.
Like, these guys do this, they are this, they hate these guys because reason.
Yeah.
Um, and I kind of don't really feel like I was led to feel any particular way. However,
Mm-hmm.
I will say, like with the tiniest of
Yeah.
asterisks, um, I've never read any other edition of Vampire the Masquerade,
Sure.
so like perhaps like this is me just being blind to it, but like I don't know, dude. I kind of didn't feel anything reading it
I
aside from like, ooh, these guys are cool.
Yeah, I really wonder if he's going for the actual rules like in the beginning that are saying, "Hey, talk with your table, make sure they're cool with what you're going to portray and all this kind of stuff." Like the in-book quote unquote rules, they're not really, but they're there. You don't need the book to tell you how to run a session. You don't like in terms of like uh uh what are they? The fucking God, I can't even think what they're called. The tones and checking in with your players to make sure that they're okay with it, all that kind of stuff. Like it doesn't need to tell you to do that. It's just from what I think, it's good to see in a book for people who just don't even think about it and need to have that kind of a conversation with their storyteller. Like I don't know, it is one of those things where if you don't have something say at least that there is an option here, that sometimes you just won't think of it. And like that can be beneficial, but it's also one of those things where just like any TTRPG, if you just want to ignore it, you can. Um because you know how your group is and you don't need the book to tell you how to like know how your group is, right? But again, those are there just for I guess inclusivity of everybody so that anyone can run this game for anybody. Um because if somebody needs to see that and needs to have that there as options, they have it. If they don't, they don't, right? Um so I'm wondering if we're going for that kind of stuff that is more of our current culture now that is like with trigger warnings and all of that kind of stuff that do appear in like books and such now. Um which I'm like it's good for those who need it. Does it affect me in any way negatively? No. Cool. Let's move on, right? Um so I don't know. I guess we'll see. Low effort meme man has struck again. Oh, I love low effort memes. Here we go. Yes. Very good. This is classic. Am I out of touch?
We
No.
we have a meme.
Yes, we do. It is the children
Ooh.
who are wrong. That is true. Thank you, low effort mean man. You've saved the day. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what we're going for here. I really hope it's not that. Because he's talking about the platitudes and stuff, and I'm like,
I
something meme.
like that, Draco.
Yeah. I don't like how he's passing judgment on everyone in the generation. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know.
No longer assured of its identity, the book resorts to snark and irony, where once there was real wit and humor that accurately resonated with the current time. Since millennials are incapable of conveying any sincere emotion in art, there is a
Whoa, okay. We need to stop. You gotta stop, my guy. Millennials are incapable of expressing any sincere emotion through art. Let's like I hope you're like doing a bit. Just I really hope you're doing a bit.
Like, I don't know. I'm just not gonna touch that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we're doing here.
wit, and humor that accurately resonated with the current time. Since millennials are incapable of conveying any sincere emotion in art, there is a jarring overuse of profanity in the writing. Instead of writing material that is actually disturbing.
Do you remember profanity in the writing?
I remember it being in like quotes and stuff, like the little excerpt things. That's
Yep.
it. Yeah. To like show the characters and like what they would say, you know? And hey, guess what? I swear all the fucking time. So like, I don't know, man. It seems normal to me. But then again, I guess I'm a millennial, so whatever, you know?
And like, who are the characters swearing? Is it some like gangrel? Is it some like nos?
I don't you know
Or
what?
is it like yeah,
Okay.
let's see some
I was
examples.
gonna say I have my fucking book literally in the drawer next to me for this. So like where okay, I don't even remember where quotes and such like that are except in the beginning in these like in this like very lengthy like beginning letter that it's just kind of going through um great grandfather died of chronic myelogenic genus leukemia. That's neat. Mortal Lives, The Beast, blah 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 blah. This is like a letter from a sire to a child and trying to tell them, you know, what it's like and all this kind of stuff. This is a
And maybe it's the fact that um because the flavor text is all stuff like letters and stuff and not like oh various edgy gothy punk flavor text here or something.
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know cuz like all of this is just various tones.
The
Um
the art because the artistic direction has changed.
yeah, and like literally
And
just I don't know. I'm looking through this and it's like so many excerpts of so many different types of documentation. So it's different types of people speaking and everything. Um and
he swears.
I assume so. I'm not gonna go through every single fucking one of these, I'll be honest. It's there's a lot of like individual kind of letters. I would highly recommend if any of you have a core rulebook, it's all of it before page 32 and after the table of contents. That's all just like little excerpt letters. One of them a big long one in the beginning, and then a bunch of little ones that are throughout.
Yeah.
So
Give
like,
me a second, Alejo, for yeah, give me a second to track down a PDF
yeah, for
and
sure.
then I'll like control F and search for swears.
Yeah, that works. But like, later on, oh, here's one. Fuck you. There it is. V5 example of play, The Hunt, and let's see. On the second page, we have "Fuck you, Sandra. I don't buy that. I couldn't help it. Crap. We just have to ride it out, and it will pass for sure." This is literally an example of how a session could go, and some dialogue that could come through. That was one "fuck you," and that was on page 44. Um, if I keep going through some of this dialogue, I mean, like, uh, bitch. There you go. There's one. Oh no. Hey, you're that animal rights bitch. I'm calling security right now. 45.
And
Okay.
that does feel a little gratuitous.
Sure. I don't know. I
Yeah, no, I'll give him that. There's swearing in it, sure.
sure. Yeah, they're
Um,
swearing in it, but like
and
I don't
it,
it's a
and it does feel a little forced, maybe.
maybe I don't know. The context uh The Night Watch person is a pudgy fellow in his 30s. He initially looks puzzled when he spots Martha. He then opens the door, stepping out of the light. He seems to notice only Martha. Is anything the matter? You... And then Lars, as Sandra, says, no problem. We were just passing through. Martha, we are leaving. Now. And then the storyteller says, hey, you're that animal rights bitch. I'm calling security right now. Before that, Martha was saying, turns her head, looks at the lit window, same glazed over look from earlier. The animals here have done nothing wrong, Sandra. Their keepers, on the other hand, they keep their animals in bondage, in slavery, for our amusement. Tonight, one of them pays. Steps from the window with an innocent but slightly predatory smile. Sure.
Yeah, you could make the case that the zookeepers and the animals could be an allegory for the uber rich,
Sure.
Keeping down the common man, maybe.
Yeah,
The side note, this guy reminds me of my disappointment is immeasurable.
Yeah. Oh fuck, what is that guy's name? I don't remember. Is the reviewer or some
yeah,
reviewer.
something food reviews.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
You gotta find it now. Does he not like swearing? No, so he's saying that it's not used in any clever way. It's just kind of there, basically. Which I'm like, oh, okay, sure. In an example, it's hard to make it so that it sounds kind of like it works in the moment. I don't know. Like, sure.
Report of the week.
Report of the week. Yes.
Review, brah.
Okay, review, brah. Exactly. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I don't know. So there was a fuck you in there. There was a bitch in there. Like, I don't know. Sure. Maybe there's more throughout. Who cares? Right? Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry. I don't. It doesn't matter to me what the example sounds like, because it's the examples. Oh my goodness, how crass. George Carlin rolling in his grave. Yeah.
I will say, if it is the examples of what typical play could look like,
sure.
I could see it being implied that
yeah, okay.
Oh, Vampire the Masquerade is meant to be played this way.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess that just requires you to not have any nuance in any sort of reading of any situation.
Oh, I agree.
Right? I know you do. I'm just saying in general, right? People who came back from Vietnam are well known for never swearing at all. That's true. That's very true.
And riding the edge of a knife, profanity is used as a punctuation to tell you that the material is disturbing. In the current age, all cultural taboos and lines have already been crossed. Where previous versions of Vampire were actually transgressive, V5 has nowhere to go. They're doing a sort of pantomime and trying to ape what was achieved in prior editions. When the book shifts to in-world character dialogue, it's overwhelmingly ironic, like someone winking at the camera. Oh my god, what the fuck is wrong with your fucking shit-ass brain, man? Don't use any electronic means of communication. Don't you remember what happened to the ShrekNet? Hey VTM players, do you remember the ShrekNet? I remember.
Okay, but sure, but guess what? New people don't know anything about that. And they have to be told how it works. There was in the book itself, it talks about that, why ShrekNet is gone, why the Second Inquisition happened, and everything like that. And when it goes into that, it doesn't go into the examples. The examples are there, sure. I don't remember that section being there, but maybe it is. But the actual relevant information is told to you it's a matter of record. So, okay. Yeah. All taboos have been crossed. What do you mean by that? Well, so, I don't know. It's apparently just because it's trying to utilize taboo subjects that have already been utilized, is that bad? Is it not still taboo? I'm sorry, but we can eat people now. Yes. Um, I don't know. Like, fucking consensualist is a thing that exists as a predator type, and if you think about that, that's so fucked. Like, I, I I don't know, man. Can you really ever true like if you want to think about it in this way, can you ever really truly get consent from these people to do this in a way that is like meaningful? Is it never actually
Yeah.
just a thing of power over somebody, you know? Um like whatever. Who cares?
Like Vampire the World of Darkness
Mm,
has never shied away from darkness.
no.
Um, I don't know. I just straight up disagree with him.
Yeah, I don't know what he's trying to argue against, I guess, in the sense that I, all taboos have been already crossed. It's like,
Yeah.
so in modern day, um seeing a dead body is still seeing a dead body. In the 20s it was way worse because guess what? I don't know, sensationalism of death is not as prominent, though it was to a degree. I mean, like, you know, you get news about it all the fucking time anyway. Um but like nowadays it's worse. But like I don't know. I feel like nowadays it's a different reaction if you were to see a dead body than it would be if you were in the 20s. It's just a thing.
I I don't think so.
I think to a degree, um I'm not saying it wouldn't still be traumatizing and everything. Like it still would be very impactful, but I think there's a different impact now. I feel, at least. But I could be wrong. I'm fine with that.
Explain.
I don't know. It feels like these days, with the amount of I guess it seems like at least these days violence is so much more, and like horrible violence like that is so much more publicized to such a degree that you can really it can just kind of be put in your face. You don't see dead bodies on TV, don't get me wrong. Um, but I feel like there is a more of a cultural acceptance that these horrible things are happening a lot more often because they are reported on so much more frequently. So that the when somebody does encounter such a situation, yes, again, it's traumatizing. It is itself a bad thing that will more than likely do damage for sure. But I feel like there is a different viewpoint that we kind of look through it at now than we would in the past.
I suppose I could see that. Matter of fact, actually, I was going to make a point about how death for us
Yeah.
in modern day seems like largely sterilized.
Yes.
Like people see acts like people. How to put this? People are exposed to violent acts
Yeah.
on a regularity,
Exactly.
which with which it has desensitized us. I do agree.
To a degree, yes.
However, I would say that for people who lived in the 1920s, death was like very much a part of daily life. Like you went out, you killed a chicken.
Sure, but
You
that's
you
different, I guess.
sure, yeah. Like for specifically like seeing a dead human body, for instance, would
Yeah.
be I imagine traumatic, no matter the era,
Yeah, yeah,
though.
yeah.
Um, I or like um how to put this? You go over to your friend's
Mm,
house when you're like 85 years old,
mm,
and you find that they've been dead there for like 3 weeks.
mm.
That's going to be traumatic, no matter the
Oh,
era.
sure.
But like, I would imagine that as time has gone on, well, no, that wouldn't really affect that. Never mind. I was gonna say that as time has gone on and like society has developed, that you are less likely to encounter that scenario of going over to your friend's house and finding them dead.
Sure.
Um, but like that wouldn't really
Mm.
relate to reception. So
No.
like
Yeah.
as to how we as a society react to traumatic things.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's I could be talking out of my ass. I don't fucking know. It's fine.
Yes, as could I.
Right, exactly. So, like, obviously, we're just a couple of guys. Fucking who cares? Uh, um, gonna call bull on the all taboos have been crossed. There are still topics too much for a role playing group. Oh yeah, that's the thing. I feel like he's just going over like what were the societal taboos at the time they've all been crossed, and I assume what he's saying is that the societal taboos are still present in V5, but like they've already been crossed, so it's not as big of a deal. And I'm over here like, well, I mean, sure, but no. It's still a societal taboo, probably, but I don't know. I guess we'll see what he says. It also depends on where you are. Europeans after World War I would react differently to an American. Also true. Yes, absolutely. Also true. One stereotype of Goths is that they always hang out in graveyards, so by that logic, death would be no big deal. Right? Yeah. No. Don't worry about that. That's not what we're going for, obviously, and I don't think that's what he's going for either. I don't think so.
There is the whole like vampires are dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
don't know.
I'll be charitable, and I'm gonna say that this guy is just like, he's not going for that far, right? Like, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But yes, RPG horror stories do exist. That is true. All right.
That's a reference I understand. This is paired with a sort of faux intellectualism that you see in disgusting sewers like Reddit or Harvard. This book is also alienating to anyone new to the hobby or to the Vampire the Masquerade setting. It's simultaneously written to appeal to the same aging audience who obsessively remembers every vampire bloodline, discipline, and metaplot development, while at the same time being drenched in sort of millennial verbal sludge. Before the book even begins to describe...
Drenched? Hold on. No, before the book begins, here we go. Oh no. He's gonna do it.
I feel like he's so preoccupied with lacing vampire-esque words throughout his script that his ability to actually um, make his point to his audience really suffers.
Yeah, well, he's doing the thing that he's accusing the book of doing. Hey, Shreknet, remember that? Because before he was doing like, it's exsanguinating the vitae out of the, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, shut the fuck up. Just tell me something like a person. I get that you're into the game. Me too, but I'm not gonna do that because that's cringe. I get to be cringe when we play, and I get to describe things and use fucking quotes from dead people to be cringe, okay? That's what I do.
Describe the high-level concept of the game, it already throws around terms like Camarilla, Gehenna, and Sabbat, expecting the reader to infer the meaning of those terms before they've even been explained or defined.
Oh no! They told you about something they'll talk about later in a more comprehensive way?
Yeah, so I will admit I did feel that way reading through the core rulebook for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Of, oh yeah, I think I've heard Alejo say that word.
Yeah.
I still super don't know what it is. And then I scrolled down a little bit further and I went, oh hey, Camarilla.
Yeah.
And then I read that whole paragraph and I went, oh, cool, what are the clans? Ooh, Toreadors, who's this?
Okay, yeah, in the beginning, before anything happens, it's those letters. And guess what? Those letters talk about concepts that you don't know yet, because you haven't read the rest of the book. Cool, man. Awesome. This guy reminds me of Kotaku writers. Is that too mean? Ooh. Nice. uh, oh, you went to Harvard. Must be an Oxford student. Yeah, I know, right? Jeez. Uh, this generation bad is not really a deep talking point. Well, I don't even know where that's going to come into play. I mean, I guess that's the entirety of the video is like, this is not made for the generation before, even though they're trying to. It's made for this shitty generation. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm shitty. Who cares? It's good.
The most unforgivable aspect of the writing style, however, is the fearful and apologetic tone that hits you in the face on every page. In multiple instances, the book asks the reader's forgiveness for a problematic aspect of prior editions, or it references itself with an embarrassed quality for not being able to predict the future of the current morality. This is absolutely
What? Hold on. Why are you doing this?
What's up?
He's saying that the book itself is ashamed of its prior editions, basically. And it's like constantly, saying, I'm sorry that we're like this. And, I'm sorry that we didn't predict how current morals are. And I'm like, what are we talking about? Where is that? Like, okay, here on page 36. In Vampire, this is called individual limits. This is just a blocked out section that's here. Individual limits. In Vampire, you'll be playing with evil. Your characters have to hunt for blood, an evil act in itself. They might slide further on the scale of morality, murdering and killing just to survive. As they go deeper into vampire society, they have to stand by as ancient monsters commit terrible crimes. When you run a vampire game, you'll want horrible things to feel horrible, but you'll also want your game to remain playable and accessible to your players. The limits of which horrors are too much are very individual, and these boundaries are something you want to talk about as a trope before the game starts. The best way to approach this collaboration is not to hector your players, instead accepting the individual idiosyncrasies everyone has. On and on and on for this paragraph, right? Like, oh no, it's telling you that guess what? In this book, if you didn't know, you're gonna be a vampire, and some bad things gonna happen. But guess what? People who play this game probably don't want to always do the bad things all the time, and if you have players that don't want to do certain bad things, maybe talk to them about it. Maybe have a discussion before you fucking play the game, just to make sure that everybody's cool with how you're going to play the game. It's like, oh no, that seems horrible. Why would we do that?
So I have been busy reading through my 5.5e player's handbook.
Yep.
Looking for similar cases of WotC mentioning something that would be explained in further detail later.
Yep.
And to the channel name
Black Lodge Games.
To Black Lodge Games' credit. I do not find like really any examples of WotC doing that. In fact, I actually find the first bit of like lore unrelated to something unrelated to what is being discussed right now is when they're talking about elves and they say created by the god Chiral. So in Vampire the Masquerade 5e, for instance, it would just say created by Chiral for this reason or whatever. And then like later on there would be a section about Chiral and about him being a god.
Sure.
But 5.5e like mentions that right out.
Sure.
So like that is I will say
So
I do take his point that the book is narrated in a way that he does not like. However, I do still maintain that he's kind of making a mountain out of this molehill.
Yeah, what I would say immediately is all of the stuff that references deeper things before it starts are those letters, really? Even in them though, they do explain quite a bit of what's going on inside of them. Um
Uh, oh, sorry, Alejo. I wanted to thank you for mentioning. You reminded me of something.
yeah.
It is also very much worth exploring the fact that the Vampire the Masquerade core rulebook is actually like also kind of meant to be a lore primer.
Yeah.
Whereas the 5.5e player's handbook is quite literally just a player's handbook.
Exactly. Yeah. I was going to say that is a fair thing as well
Um,
cuz um all of the core rulebook is everything you would need core. You don't need anything for
yes.
specifically players.
So dialogue like unexplained lore bits aren't really likely to be happening.
Yes, exactly. Um but that's but the other thing is literally the first section on page 33 begins with concepts and like goes into what everything is about, and all of the excerpts are excerpts that you don't even need to read to start like understanding the game necessarily. um so I just I don't know, because like we've got, as we continue, like literally from the beginning it starts talking about vampires, and then as you keep going, the new tyrant generation on page 37 starts talking about the Camarilla. Then as you continue, Total Revolution starts talking about being an anarch. And then the Second Inquisition is later on after that. And like, I don't know, man. All of the individual stuff there um is all like those are the core concepts. And then as you continue, um we have the example thing that comes up, and then it goes into kindred society, where you can then go even into farther depth for the jihad and the camarilla, and um, each tradition for the masquerade. Continuing, even it's got like, yeah, it's a lot of information, and the primers there talk about a few things but don't go into depth, you know. um so like I don't know. And then the apologeticness, I don't see that. I see it as um we're in a current time where the standards are different. Um it's not being apologetic for what came before. It's just adapting to what is now the culture, I guess. You know?
But no, the core rulebook said fuck werewolves.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah, true. Yeah. By the way, hey, Full Metal Dragon, I see that you're in here now. What's up? Um, I would never Hector my players. I prefer to Achilles them. True. Um, Wizards of the Coast actually references its lore in the rulebook. I'm legit surprised. Yeah. Um, I get you, book. I too am ashamed of my prior editions. True.
Oh, what's up, Full Metal? Yeah, Full Metal Dragon.
Yeah.
A product of the millennial
Entropy,
worldview,
what's
where
up?
the moral high ground is constantly shifting under their feet. They cannot take a firm stance in their writing because the rules they've made for themselves mean that at any time that firm position could land them on a sacrificial altar of the new current thing. We also see another trend dominate the writing. There's a drive to consolidate and unify everything in the name of streamlining and efficiency. Everywhere, from the different player options and abilities to the resolution mechanics for skills in combat, the material has been stripped of any unique, messy aspects to eliminate inconsistencies from prior editions. But in so doing, they remove a portion of what makes them exciting or interesting. This is seen clearly first in how the vampire clans are portrayed, and it gets everything about them wrong. Everyone is presented as a monolith, with their sectarian and ideological affiliations already set in stone. Whereas in previous editions, you could find members of the clans populating any of the major factions. In 5th edition, they are
Well, yeah, you still can. but the this is about the bloodlines though. Like the clans in this are the bloodlines,
Yeah.
and in those they
They're
go.
they're meant to be generic. They're meant to be, oh, this is what this clan stands for.
Yeah. I think we can.
Is the core rulebook from 5e shorter than in previous
I
editions?
have no idea.
Because maybe if like in previous editions you had room to show like, oh, clan Toreador, and then like three characters who were all Toreadors. Whereas like in Vampire the Masquerade 5e you only have one, maybe?
Uh, but like, I okay. Well, but even in this, they go into different types of each archetype. Because like literally, I turned to Malkavians, and you have influencing presence, medium, bad analyst, fanatic, pure blood addict. Like those are 5 different types of Malkavians you could base yourself off or see. But it also in these goes like not all of them are like this though. So
Oh, well, that kind of directly counters what he said then.
I yeah, know I don't know what we're doing. Well, so what he's saying is like from what I understand, and I'll play it again just to make sure, but what he's saying is that clans used to consist of many different people from and many different bloodlines, and I'm like, well, those are coteries now. I don't know what they were before, but everybody, you can have anybody from anything in whatever coterie you want. So like, what's the problem here? Um, so if the writing's bad, that would be the fault of the writer, not the fault of the current generation. I assume what his point is that the current generation has pushed the writers to write this way. So I don't know. I guess had to drop another meme. Every
Ooh,
clan is
neat.
represented as a monolith in a video about how millennials ruined Vampire. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate memes. Never played Vampire, so I have no real opinion about it. That's fair. I really like Vampire. I think it's great.
It's pretty neat. I very much prefer it over 5e.
Mm-hmm.
About as much as D&D in general.
Mm-hmm.
The I think I'm kind of in a place right now of enjoying Vampire more than D&D just because it's so fresh.
That's fair. Yeah, that makes sense.
Everyone is presented as a monolith, with their sectarian and ideological affiliations already set in stone. Whereas in previous editions, you could find members of the clans populating any of the major factions.
Yeah, the all of that stuff set in stone is also countered by, but also you could just not be like these people. So,
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the same people who decry like, oh, 5e says you have to run things this way,
right,
and as like a criticism of 5e,
right,
when the player's handbook specifically tells you on like page 7 that the DM is the ultimate authority of their own game, even over the core rulebook.
yeah, exactly.
Um, it kind of feels like that level of like blindness to like what the core rulebook says,
Mm-hmm.
kind of verbatim
Mm-hmm.
in the introductory paragraph to the concept.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry if this seems a little pointed, but like this kind of really is pretty glaring to me.
Mm-hmm.
5th edition, they are all neatly sorted into prepackaged factional allegiances. All of the Gangrel are now in the Anarchs. All of the Venture
What?
We are absolutely not in the Anarchs. Gangrels are
What?
absolutely part of the Camarilla.
They
Like,
what?
they're more on the fringes of it,
Yeah,
sure, but
it's
like that's because of their link to nature. Of course, they're going to run up into stuff like werewolves more often. That's kind of what their preference is to be like. And I guess, sure, because of that, we are now anarchs because
with the
Gangrel.
bones of trading stories of war. Okay, this says they've turned their backs on the Camarilla and fight tooth and claw to escape the endless plots of their fellow kindred. It does say that in the book, but
Like, that kind of gives more so the vibes of they're the vanguard against um uh, the fringes of society, I guess.
yeah, social hierarchy, wolves
The
accept.
the creep of the werewolves creeping out of the woodwork.
Right. Uh, uh, I, I, I can't understand why you would like. Yeah, sure. Um, I hold on. Let me just look through some of the other ones because like Bruja have always been archetypical anarchs, but like critical thing. Yeah, sure. No, this one doesn't. So the Bruja one, I guess cancer in the system here says, uh, a staff, one of the remaining Bruja in the Camarilla. Okay, yeah, so like this says, hey, some Bruja are still in the Camarilla. Uh, Gangrel, let me just make sure that I don't see anything that's weird. Um, uh, 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 uh. Gangrel are no strangers to the wild, spending much of their time beyond city limits and communing with creatures and clans outside those in the Camarilla. In life and undeath, the adventurer has seen and experienced something few could comprehend. Walk from place to place, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that just means that they can be outside, sure.
That just means they're a rogue trader, though, essentially.
Yeah. Uh, now, now again, like, I let me find the clans thing here and see. Um, choo choo choo. Okay, yeah, literally, this says in the beginning of clans on 63 of your core rulebook. Tonight, there are 13 distinct clans among the innumerable minor bloodlines, as well as the Caitiff and the Thin Bloods, who prouder and more powerful lineages reject. Two of the 13, La Sombra and Zimitsi, have fallen under the shadow of the Sabbat, which you can also be a Zimitsi or a La Sombra and not be in the Sabbat, by the way. Um, Two, Giovanni and Ravnos, have been driven nearly extinct outside their ancestral strongholds by enemies mortal and sorceress. Another two, Banu Hakim and Setite Ministry, remain in limbo between the Gehenna war zone and the dubious protection of the Camarilla. The final seven continue to maneuver for position and duel for power in the endless night of the Jihad. So that says to me that they're around in all aspects. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I just. Okay. So because the one says that they're against the Camarilla and the rest of them don't. I guess? Um.
Remember, one character is an archetype now.
Oh.
That means that any of the characters that may be in that, what was that clan?
Uh. The Gangrels?
Yeah. Any one gangrel can now be chosen as the archetype, and because that gangrel was an anarch, they are now all
Yeah,
anarchs.
exactly. Like, okay. Whatever, man. Nuance doesn't exist. I'm sorry. If you go and you fucking, like, play any game, you have to follow everything completely raw. All the time, I guess. I don't know. It's... Sure. Why do so many channels forget you can do what you want in TTRPGs no matter what the rulebook says? Well, it's not even that, right? It's just like the rulebook even just says most of the time you can do whatever you want. So it's not a thing that you need to be said, but for people out there who seem to just forget that, uh, it needs to be said, I guess.
True are on the Camarilla. Nice, neat, clean. The individualism that characterized this game in the past has been replaced with a millennial conception of atomized collectivism.
Okay.
Some lip service is briefly given to individual outliers or the possibility of disagreement within the ranks, but this is a powerful shift in how the world of darkness is intuited by the reader. No longer is
I'm sorry, man. I can intuit that I could be whatever I want in whatever faction I want. Thank you. Like, I didn't play this game. I've played Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines before this, okay? And that's where I had my vampire lore come from. And even in that, there's like things all over the place. So maybe I've got a little bit of a bias where certain things are Sabbat, certain things are not. Like, there could be that I saw that everything can be anything, really. Though Sabbat were just like, in that game, they're just generic Sabbat. It never really gives them a clan. They look a lot more like gangrels a lot of the time, I'll be honest, but they're supposed to just be themselves. So I had that as a thing before, but like even without that, I'm pretty sure that anybody who picks up the book can look into this and say, well, actually, I think I want to be in the Camarilla and I'm going to play a gangrel. Because I don't know if you know this, but that's what Aiden's character is.
Yeah. When designing my character, I didn't go, oh man, I have to be on the fringes of society. I went, no, dude, I'm the trash man. Like Danny DeVito, like rolling around with trash in the wrestling ring. That's what I wanted to make.
Exactly.
Alejo, do you remember me mentioning in the movie where Daniel Radcliffe had guns for hands?
Oh, Guns
And he's like,
Akimbo.
yeah, and he's like standing there in like his PJs,
Yes.
basically. That was what I wanted to make for my character.
Yes. I do remember that, yes. I don't know. I'm sorry, but like, and I consider myself to be an average person in a lot of ways. So like, I feel like the average person can intuit this stuff pretty well. I don't know, but I'm gonna go out on the limb there and not say that everyone's a blind fucking sheep like you seem to think they are. I don't know.
the world a gritty and chaotic struggle among individuals to carve their own place in the world, whether by violent rebellion or by climbing the ranks of vampiric society. Instead, the events of the world are determined by organizations that operate in lockstep with one another, which prevent any confusion as to who is who and where their loyalties lie. This is
Okay. So, let me tell you about concepts for like a second here. Because in reality, I could tell you about a concept, and then in the execution of that concept, we could have various different outcomes. Okay? So, like, the Camarilla, let me tell you, exists. They are supposedly the highest governing body of vampire society. Yes, in this book it says that. And in this book it says the Anarchs exist and they don't think so. They're like, actually, I think we're okay. What it doesn't go into very much, I guess, is the fact that not all of the Camarilla see eye to eye. Not all of the places that they are actually ruling over could be completely like run differently. But just because it doesn't say that doesn't mean that I can't fucking think that, because guess what, like, society does when you have a large group that is overarching, like, it's ruling over many different things. If you think about kingdoms, what they were, one kingdom doesn't necessarily rule over its uh fucking subjects the same way as another kingdom could. And that could be because of geography and culture. It could be because of the attitudes of the rulers. Like, I don't know, man. I've lived and like read about things and like understand, even without having like read anything about it. I fucking seen like teachers at school, okay? They fucking teach differently and treat kids differently depending on if they're fucking assholes or not, or if they had a bad day or not, or if they're passionate or not about this job. Like, I what what are we doing?
I don't know, dude.
Atomized collectivism. Yeah, I heard that and I just let it go because I have no fucking idea what he's talking about.
I'm just kind of like in the let him say words bit,
Yeah.
because it's like let him say words mode for a bit, because like I kind of don't know if how would I put this? Um I kind of don't know if I can respond properly to his point when it seems to like be so like vague and just kind of old man yells at clouds.
Yeah.
As I saw someone mentioned
I
earlier, I
think somebody
forget
said
who.
that. Yeah.
They definitely did. Give me a second to check the
Yeah,
chat.
yeah. Shadow, what the fuck are you talking about? Exactly. Dude, it's I like legitimately I have no idea what we're doing.
This is a complete misunderstanding of what the
Draco said it.
Ah, okay.
clans are meant to represent in the world. They are vicious lineages of undying monsters who share commonality solely in the blighted sins of their forebears. They are abusive families trying desperately to survive by any means necessary,
Yes.
while deluding themselves of their primacy in the natural order.
Sure.
The clans are brutal, messy, and in conflict, meant from a game perspective to give context to the character's newly cursed environment and evocative inspiration for the varied incarnations of the vampire archetype. They are not siloed buckets on a corporate spreadsheet, offering the illusion of choice in the name of balanced options.
Dude. Dude, like, just okay. So, like, let me tell you, just I I don't know what you've played before. Okay, I really don't. But I don't need the book to tell me how to play a character or how to run characters. Okay, I'm sorry. It gives me that information in a spreadsheet like fashion, if you will. And I take that information and I mold it to what I need to do with that information. If it's given to me clinically, I can add my pizzazz to it way easier than having to take the pizzazz and inject my own into it instead. I don't know. Like,
In fairness, though,
yeah,
that is a you thing.
sure. That is true. I will
That
give you that.
you enjoy getting information clinically.
So I don't enjoy getting information clinically. I'm just saying that it's useful to me when it's clinical. But at the same time, I think there's enough character inside of the book itself that it's not clinical, because when we were reading through vampire clans, I wouldn't say that it's everything's in a box, because it even is like, hey, guess what? You don't have to be like this. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
But like, I don't know. I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt, and it feels more like running cover.
Yeah, I know, and I appreciate you for it. Um, Seriously, dude, it's a game, not a rebellion. Well, apparently that was the point of original Vampire.
Yeah, apparently it is a rebellion.
It's supposed to be, apparently. Is this the Garibay of Vampire? Is he the anti-Bay?
Buying the product was a form of rebellion. Don't you get it?
Yeah. Come on. Rise up.
Yeah.
Seize the means of
It's not a
production.
phase. Vampire 3E is here to stay.
Oh, he uses the form of Garabay's teaching to lead people away from D&D. Dude, I don't even know.
I kind of want to see them put into a room together.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
I want to see the debate that erupts.
He just sounds so standoffish, damn. I mean, yeah. It's like the video. I don't know.
This is carried further with a decision to curtail several of the unique clan disciplines and fold them in with existing baseline power lists.
Okay, so I'm sorry, but like, game doesn't have as much powers is not an argument for me, to really have much of a, like, anything other than okay to say. I'm sorry. Like I said, previous Vampire is apparently more power, like, full in both sense of the words, of it being powerful as well as powerful. So, like, great, good, I don't care myself. I'm glad that you like it that way, and you can keep playing it that way. This is not that game. It's not worse because of it, either.
The Malkavian disciplines of Demontation, for instance, now exist as a single power, requiring 2 dots of Dominate and 2 dots of Obfuscate, while a smattering of the old Serpentis from the Sethites are now brought fully into Protean. The separation of those powers in older editions gave depth and identity to the various clans,
Sure.
but have now been streamlined, like the interface of an iPhone. They've been sacrificed because the writers have no faith in their audience, and they believe, perhaps rightly, that players will be intimidated by more options.
You know what? Maybe. Okay? I don't know. I don't think
Yeah.
so. I don't want to say that people are like that, but if that's what a writer might think, I can't say.
I guess that's like your opinion, man.
Yep. Oh, God.
Even the core resolution mechanics suffer in the same way. Rather than leaning in and presenting the reader with advice and examples illustrating how rules serve to feed dramatic scenes, you're encouraged instead to interface with the mechanics as little as possible. At multiple points throughout, sidebars and developer commentary offer up an almost regretful apology for even including such mechanics in the game at all, and that if they prove too burdensome or intimidating, then just don't use them. This is a game about—
Oh, okay. Well, I can literally...
Okay.
So, go on. You first.
No. That was my going, oh, Alejo, please.
Okay, yeah. So, like, okay. So, combat, specifically. I can point to that. In the rules themselves, I'll even find it here. But in the rules themselves, they have a very simplified way of running combat. They go, hey, in a combat situation, what happens is you declare your intentions of movement, if you have them, and then at that point, everybody moves, and it goes ranged combat, already existing combats, new combats. That's the order. Okay? Now, in those combat rules themselves, it even goes, hey, if you want to do something that's a little bit different than this, if you want something that's more, like, based off of, like, dexterity and all that kind of stuff, I don't remember specifically what it's based off of, and I'm trying to find it here, but, like, it's like, hey, there are additional rules later on that you can utilize. It's not apologetic, it's just saying you don't need to do all the complicated shit that you need. So, or sorry, not need. It doesn't, like, the complicated way of doing initiative and shit is not necessary. Here it is. Okay.
It kind of sounds to me like the core rule book is saying, hey, here's a way that your character, like, would work, but if you want to do something different and unique, go for it.
basically.
It kind of the exact opposite. Whatever.
So,
You
like,
guys.
legitimately, conflicts on page 123. Situations involving, and this is only that first paragraph, and it's all I need. Situations involving basic contests that result in damage, physical or mental, are called conflicts. The basic conflict rules value simplicity and speed of play, and they apply to any hostile interaction, from street fighting to particularly vicious courtly debate. Storytellers and players should invest these basic conflicts with as much narrative detail as they like, clothing the bare dice results in narrative flesh and gore. For more advanced conflict systems, see pages 295 through 305. So it even says there's more advanced stuff later on in the book if you want something that's more advanced, more meaty, if you will. And I will go over here right now to this. 295. So, you can have different ways of running combat. 3-2 done as one. 2-2-2. How to make concessions in something that seems in that kind of system. It's very quick. It's way quicker than what we do. 2-2-2. Additional conflict options. So these are, instead of you telling me the basics of what you want to do, these are specific actions. Advance, maneuver, block, all-out attack, all-out defense, minor actions, movements in conflict, one-roll conflicts, like who goes first, surprise attacks, close combat, grappling, ranged combat, thrown weapons, defending versus ranged combat, ranged weapons in close combat, crippling injuries, like social combat itself. Like, it has a whole bunch more advanced features if you should need them, is my point. It's not apologetic about it. It's saying if you don't want just the simple bare bones, quote unquote, thing that we've got right here in the beginnings of the book, you can go later on into these appendices, basically, and make it more fleshed out and complicated if you wish. Okay, cool. I don't see an apology here. I don't. Maybe you could give me more examples of where it's trying to apologize for existing, but I don't know. Didn't he start off saying this is a good role-playing game, and now he's saying it's sauceless? Yes. Exactly, yes. I don't know, I hate the new Werewolf Renegade has put out. To me, the new Werewolf neuters what's good about Werewolf the Apocalypse. So, I've heard that as a sentiment. I've never played old Werewolf, but I do have new Werewolf. And I've not read it too much, but it seems interesting and it seems different. So I maybe, I don't know. That's the thing. I really couldn't tell you. I would have to look between the two. But at the moment, from what I remember of reading of Werewolf, it was fine. It seemed interesting. It's just way different from what I would have expected, I guess. But not in a bad way, to me at least. But then again, I don't have any nostalgia for it, so I don't know. Neither do I have any reference for the old one, so I couldn't tell you. Anyway.
About story, it reiterates again and again in a misunderstood belief that rules and roleplay are mutually exclusive. Put briefly,
No, it doesn't. It was saying to, in the conflict one specifically, it was saying to take what your bare dice have and give it the narrative and everything that it deserves inside of the conflict. Now, is that the case? Does it say that for everything? I don't know off the top of my head, but I will say, at least for that one example, it's telling you to interweave the two as best you can, both storyteller and player. So, okay.
Primary resolution mechanic is a D10 dice pool system. Characters have attributes and skills that can range from 1 to 5. Combine the appropriate attribute plus skill for the challenge and roll that many d10s. Results of a 1 to 5 count as failures, while 6 to 10 are successes.
Yes.
Count up the number of successes you have and compare them against the difficulty value, determining how your character performed. This is not overly complicated or unusual in RPGs. And for the book to presume that their audience is so stupid undermines the strong sense of style and identity that makes the game so attractive in the first place. Adjustments.
Okay, that was a claim.
It presumes that we're stupid? When?
Millennials are dumb and they can't understand rules or basic like tenets of how TTRPGs work intrinsically. And because of that, Vampire the Masquerade treats its players as if they're dumb because they are. Millennials are dumb. Ha!
Okay. All right. I honestly have no idea. Okay, sure. We continue.
Yeah.
To the core mechanics such as automatic wins, 3 turns and out, or 1 roll conflicts are positioned throughout the rules and advanced systems chapters in a way that seems designed to curtail.
So you know when it has things that are more advanced, and yet what? Okay, no, okay, fine.
The reader's engagement, reminding them, hey, this is just a story, remember? The rules don't matter. You don't have to use this. Please don't kill me.
It's literally not doing that. Shut the fuck up. Are you kidding me, dude? All it's doing is saying these are options that you can utilize otherwise. You don't have to use these ones. You don't have to use the one that it presents you in the beginning. Shut the fuck up. Like, actually, what are you talking about? Wouldn't it be funny if he was from the generation he's shitting on? Yes.
5e is maybe it's that maybe his criticism is that 5e is too overt with their messaging of power being in the hands of the storyteller.
Oh no.
Yeah. I guess they mention it a few too many times for your taste. Damn.
Exactly.
Moving on.
Yeah, exactly.
Truly inspired and great new mechanics in this game that absolutely enhance the role-playing opportunities.
Cool.
And actually simulate what it means to be a vampire.
Right.
One of the crown jewels of this edition is
wait. Tell me actually how vampires work, like scientifically speaking. So that obviously I'm being a dickhead, but like they actually simulate how a vampire would work. It's like, okay, yeah. Tell me all about it, I guess. Cool. Confirmed vampire.
The hunger die mechanic. No longer is hunting your prey an afterthought that is glossed over like you're topping off your gas tank.
Yes, the hunger die mechanic is fantastic. It's so good.
Now, each character has a hunger rating from 1 to 5, depending on how long it's been since you last fed or how aggressively you've taxed the powers of the blood. Your dice pool will have a number of normal dice replaced with different colored hunger dice, corresponding to your current hunger rating. If those hunger dice result in a 1 or a 10 after you roll, there's a possibility of your character suffering a bestial failure or a messy critical. In either instance, this represents the beast briefly lashing out and revealing your character's monstrous nature. This could manifest as a masquerade breach, risk brutally harming someone you didn't intend to, and ultimately causes unexpected consequences that can add to organic drama. You can have the most carefully laid out plans, but because your belly isn't full, things can go way off the rails.
Yep.
No longer does a player simply fear the narrow circumstances where their vampire may frenzy. The beast is constantly gnawing at them and shaking the bars of its cage. You can no longer ignore what you are. It's always there. It's always hungry. And it is always waiting for that one moment of weakness. Paired with this is the new blood resonance mechanic, which adds depth to scenes of hunting and feeding. The gas station stop at the nightclub is now no longer something that GMs or players will hand-wave away. The blood of your victims has specific power. Not all mortals are the same. Their temperament and the depth of their emotions permeates their blood.
This is something that I should really do more often when you guys drink from anything, really. I mean, like, it doesn't happen often, to be fair. But, like, when you do take a drink from somebody, I should really think about resonances more, because they would affect you. a whole hell of a lot more. But well.
But no, this Labrador Retriever was really sad.
If he was talking about werewolf, I would agree with him. Well, so this is the thing, man. Like, I don't know. It feels like to me, if you want more of what used to be, just play what used to be. This works just fine. It's good, you know? I don't know anything about werewolf necessarily off the top of my head, and I haven't played it, and I haven't experienced the old werewolf or the old vampire. But I can't sit here and just say, oh yeah, new thing bad. I'm sorry. Just because it's a little different in certain aspects, I can't do it. Like, I'll do it for 5e for Dungeons and Dragons, but like, that's in certain aspects. I still don't say game bad in general. You can still play the game and it works and it's good enough, right? Like, I wouldn't say it's a bad game. But like, I don't know. When the guy is over here saying, this is good, then all of this shit. And I'm like, okay. And then it's like, but this is good for roleplay. And I'm like, yes, that's true. It's like, when people have complained about current vampire versus old vampire, they're saying this one's way too narrative heavy. The old one was way more like mechanical. And I'm over here like, oh, okay. So like, I like this more. Neat. I mean, it's got a lot of mechanics to it still, so it's very mechanical still. But like, you want that power fantasy in that. And I'm like, okay, sure. That's fine. You can have that.
This kind of just feels like the equivalent of an OSR Vampire the Masquerade player.
Yep. Exactly. It's not that he can't miss what the game was, but he shouldn't over-exaggerate and lie about what the current game is. Yes. Agreed. New stuff doesn't kill the old stuff is still there. Yeah, exactly. And like, White Wolf did good stuff, I'm assuming, because it has a legacy that has been, you know, now revamped. Ha. But this vampire is not White Wolf's vampire because it's not White Wolf anymore. It's Renegade. And whether or not you like that, that's fine. I don't care. You can not like it. That's okay. But you can't come up to me and say, hey, this is shit because it's not actually like the old game. And I go, uh-huh. Okay.
And when you feed on them, this blood resonance impacts your supernatural abilities. For example, feeding from a mortal crippled with depression or anxiety may empower your abilities of stealth or obfuscate,
True.
as you take on your victim's desire to disappear from the world. Or, if you feed from someone you've seduced and aroused, your character may find their abilities of expression or presence similarly inflamed. This is a synthesis of mechanics and roleplay that makes the game darker and more monstrous, as you're incentivized to cruelly manipulate your victims to feel what you want them to feel and to serve your ends. So, what does all this mean? What's the takeaway? Vampire the Masquerade in its original incarnation was a snapshot in time. It presents us with a vivid image of an ascendant culture that...
Please tell me that you're just going to say that this one is also like a snapshot in time, because it also is.
...that was on the brink of decline. V5 is a deeply flawed game
Oh.
that is at odds with its past and yet is unable to truly visualize a coherent or inspirational future.
Oh.
Yet these flaws of Arrested Development are, in fact, what marks it firmly as the perfect representation of the current moment we live in. As Armand states to Louis, that is the very spirit of your age.
Oh, Jesus Christ, you quoted one of my favorite books. Oh, Jesus Christ, you quoted Interview with a Vampire. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, please kill me. Oh, God. Okay, sorry. That deeply hurts me. All right.
V5 sought to resurrect the magic of the older editions, not by a free and organic inspiration, but as a cosmetic surgeon or a technical engineer.
Whatever.
Cutting away perceived inefficiencies or problematic baggage, while gussying up the text and the banal jargon of popular culture.
Pizza Funk, this video is cringe. Oh. Yes.
Strangely, the developers have succeeded in fulfilling the legacy of Vampire in a manner in which they could not have anticipated or intended. This game is also a snapshot in time.
Oh!
It fully encapsulates the zeitgeist of the millennial cultural milieu. It exists as an enactment.
Do you just say big words just because?
Yeah. He's as I mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
so busy sounding like sounding like a thesaurus
Yeah.
that his actual point just kind of like gets lost.
And don't get me wrong, I like interesting words. Okay.
Sure, yeah.
But when you are literally just doing it to sound smart a lot of the time, I don't care. I'm sorry.
It toes the line of no one likes a show off.
Mm-hmm.
And no one likes someone who talks like a thesaurus just because.
Yeah.
Like, dude, your point is getting lost.
Yeah.
All right, what motivation do I have as your audience who has ostensibly come across your video for the first time?
Mm-hmm.
What motivation do I have to continue giving you my time of day?
Exactly. So to summarize, I hate it, and it fits millennials perfectly. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, although I will say, I guess to his benefit, he did make his point very clear at like the 2 minutes and 40-second mark.
Well, he said it was good.
Of like this is just going to be generational hate.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And we are kind of like 12 and a half minutes later.
Yeah.
So like the people who are going to stay will already be more than willing to give him the time of day while he rambles. So like sure, I guess.
Suppose, maybe. Or they just want to watch the fire. It really
Yeah.
breaks the verisimilitude.
Mm.
Milieu, verisimilitude, Chronos and Kairos. Yes, yes. But I will kill Artorias. Exactly. Yes. Leave Lestat out of this. Yeah, for sure. He did say it's a snapshot of this time, so there's that. True. He did. It's like the easiest thing he could have said. But at the same time, I feel like his reasoning is a little wrong.
Anachronism of the present day, in the same way that the genre of gothic punk encapsulated the Gen X worldview of the 90s.
Sure.
The result, sadly, will not achieve the lasting resonance of V5's forebears, and it's come at the cost of their immortality. As with Star Wars, Star Trek, or the Marvelverse, it's no longer truly possible to view the original game outside of the context of the later revisions which have come long after its time has passed. No longer an eternal monument to a longingly remembered time in which we...
I mean, it can when it was made like 20 years after the last edition, and like I know that people around don't like again, the Vampire the Masquerade's popularity was because of Bloodlines in the time that in the time between, like that's where people learned about it. And it is itself a it's very popular in itself. And that was the way that it didn't even have, it had like the same kind of power set and everything. Because I think it was based off of V20, which was like the 20th anniversary or something. I don't remember exactly. But I don't know, man. When like people in this day and age right now who are getting into this game don't they don't I don't know if White Wolf editions are even easy to come by anymore. So like going backwards in time, well, maybe the internet, right? The internet exists, so if they have interest, they'll go and find it. But I don't know. It's like a branching off of an already kind of niche thing, I feel. So I don't know. Yeah. I think any of the new World of Darkness is going to suffer from comparison of its past versions. It's just a different thing. I really feel like it's not entirely different, but it is just a different like writer set. It's literally a different company. Like I feel like it's gonna be different regardless. Whether or not it suffers is something that we can discuss, I guess. But I don't know if it inherently will suffer, you know?
It feels to me like he has set up such a d- such a position that's impossible to attack, I guess,
Yeah.
of like, oh well, I feel this way, that it is irreparably sullied because later editions were written in a way that I don't like, so 3E is now lesser because of it.
Right.
Like, okay, dude, I'm sorry you feel that way. There's kind of nothing really I or anyone can do about your feelings.
Yeah. It's not this, like, he's comparing it to cinematic universes now, which directly have influence on each other, like, a lot of the time.
But like, episode 4 is made no worse by the fact that episode 8 exists. Or
Uh,
7.
no, not because of
Uh,
7 necessarily. No, it does.
episode 4 is, wait, to my recollection, that's the one that it's where Anakin destroys the Death Star, right? It's like the first movie.
Luke. Um,
Yeah, and yeah, sure, whatever. I don't care. I don't care about Star
I know.
Wars.
But
I know you don't. I'm saying to the
yeah,
chat.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I know. But like, so, yeah, it doesn't. We don't have to go into that right now. But like,
Yeah.
legitimately, those things literally take place in the same universe, whereas Vampire the Masquerade does to a degree. But he even was talking about how it was ended, and I don't know how it was ended in the last edition whenever they made that bit, and whether or not it was ended inside of the edition or it was ended inside of supplementary material, because I don't know. um
I
I would have to look
I
into
I
that.
mean I mean like within the context of episode 4 is no worse insofar as like we should celebrate it no less
Oh
because
yeah.
episode 7
Yeah,
exists.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's true.
So
Um
like yeah.
yeah, yeah. It doesn't make it worse quality wise. Um it really would just depend on the changes of lore, I guess, really. It, but it's a completely different beast in terms of those cinematic universes. They're completely different conversations than necessarily this might be, because again, I don't know. I would have to look into how the previous edition ended, quote unquote, to see if it really matches up, like, lore wise, I guess. But from what I understand, I think it matches up lore wise fine. So what it's doing is just being vampire of the modern age, or excuse me, this contemporary period, instead of it being what it was before. So I don't know. It does, again, it doesn't change what happened, I guess. So, mm. um, the problem is by using the same name that it implies in-universe continuation of the previous editions, where none of Renegade's editions do that. They use the same names but change the canon. Oh, well then, I don't know. Then they just didn't do that, I guess, because in this one it is a continuation, right? Um, wait, when none of the Renegades editions do that? No, they do. They 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 continued from um because, like, literally in it they have mentions of the new Inquisition and all of that, right? Or sorry, the Second Inquisition, and the fall of Shreknet, and like the consequences of it being discovered and everything. Like, they are literally using canon in their lore. It's equivalent of Disney's rewriting Star Wars to fit their own ideas and giving it the previous setting middle fingers. Well, so in that instance, they have actually, like, damaged things by creating prequels to things that, uh, and then just wrote in different mechanics that actually don't work within the universe. Like, yes, it is ShrekNet like that. Yes. Like in that when they created the kamikaze of ships, that destroys space battle because it works surprisingly well. So why would you never utilize like a bunch of things of like small ships that just go into hyperdrive to just bash into ships all the time, and it was never used until way the fuck later? Makes no sense, right? So like that at least is something that is an inconsistency that does kind of damage previous material. But for this, they're literally going, oh yeah, this stuff happened, so this is what's happening now because of it, right?
Yeah, sort of more straightforward.
Exactly. Although Renegade didn't write Vampire 5 originally, they did rewrite Hunter and Werewolf. They were given Vampire. Okay. Well, I don't know then. If that's the case, then it seems like whoever wrote it did it based off of what was the old stuff, right? But I don't know. With Hunter and Werewolf, again, I don't know anything about those. Just because a new company changes something does not mean that fans need to use it. Well, yeah, that's just true, but it doesn't mean that we can't notice the inconsistencies and still be upset about them, right? Anyway,
We can immerse ourselves. Vampire the Masquerade is now cursed as its namesake monsters to walk among us in this present moment, forever out of place and forever required to maintain the masquerade of its own relevancy. Our present moment is defined by its brokenness, and V5 captures that in its jarring flaws and its contrived transgressiveness. Millennials are unmoored from anything real or sincere, and so they're forced to cannibalize nostalgia, not knowing or caring that they perpetuate their own existential floundering in the process. For all that's been
Are we just skating past that one?
I just like, I was just seeing if there was more context to that.
Hold on, I've got to see that one.
Yeah, take it back.
said, V5 is not a doomed work, and they are indeed monsters to walk among us in this present moment, forever out of place and forever required to maintain the masquerade of its own relevancy. Our present moment is defined by its brokenness, and V5 captures that in its jarring flaws and its contrived transgressiveness. Millennials are unmoored from anything real or sincere, and so they're forced to cannibalize nostalgia.
Millennials are unmoored from anything real or sincere.
Because
do we have to continue giving this guy our time of day?
It's almost over. I mean, like legitimately, because in the book it was slightly insincere. It's just like, oh, okay,
whatever.
Sure.
Sorry, no, whatever to you, whatever to him.
I know, absolutely. Notice it, yes, but why be upset about it? Because it does actually do damage. Like, for some things, it does do damage to the things that came before. Like, it actually does. And it makes it so that it's like you have to question the decisions in universe. And that's not what you should be doing with canon. You should be using it to elevate the story to fit inside of the canon. But that's why. The name Shrek is derived from the German word Schreck, meaning fright or terror. Today I learned. Didn't know that.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Shin.
Not knowing or caring that they perpetuate their own existential floundering in the process. For all that's been said, V5 is not a doomed work, and there are indeed flashes of excellence and creative brilliance to be found. It is a game I will play for a very long time, as there's lots of interesting ideas in the updated lore. From the consequences of the beckoning to the emergence of the Second Inquisition, along with many other interesting changes to the World of Darkness, we will have a lot more to talk about with Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition. If you like this video, you are correct. Show us how right you are by smashing the like and subscribing to the bell. We've got a lot more videos like this on the way.
That ending seemed tonally jarring.
Yeah.
I don't. I
like Okay, so normally I would be all about that level of like self-aggrandizement
Yeah.
and like but like fuck dude, after a video that's literally just generational bashing and
Yeah.
saying like, "Oh, well, millennials made the thing I like worse." And like various remixes of that
Yeah.
interspersed with like various bits and bobs of generational hate. uh I sure dude, I try to have a stance of more so like welcoming people into the hobby that I
Yeah.
enjoy because I want to have more of a player base to enjoy that hobby with.
Exactly.
But yeah, sure, if you want to be exclusionary and all like, oh no, old thing good and new thing bad, then like, yeah, sure, dude, I can't help your feelings on the matter.
Yeah. I feel like he's come to a very flawed understanding of what V5 is. Um, I don't know. I think it's just fine. Like I really like it as a game. I just do. It isn't a mess. It doesn't like why when you're trying to tear it down for its flaws, why can I go into it and say, but it doesn't do that? And also, I'm sorry, but I'm not an idiot, and I don't think that it thinks that I'm an idiot when I'm reading it.
Like,
So,
he sort of ticked the box off of like, or sorry, ticked every box
no, he
off
ticks
of
me
the
off. That's true.
checklist of like just being angry old man,
Mm,
except he didn't complain about, oh, they made it woke now.
right. Yeah, that's the only thing that we needed for the
Like
trifecta.
that's the one spot I need to hit bingo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. My bingo card was nearly full, man. Come on. No, it's just I don't know, man. I understand again. I'm fine if you prefer the old thing, but when the new thing is not bad, I don't see why we need to bash it to hell. I don't. Okay? If it is bad because it does do things wrong or it does mess with things in a way that does not make sense, I'm all for you saying, "Oh, this sucks." All right? He doesn't even say that. He just says, "No, it's got great shit in it." But also, it's directionless like a millennial. And I'm like, "Okay. Okay, sure. Yeah, man. Whatever, dude. I'm trying my best. Sorry."
This video spends a lot of time talking about Vampire the Masquerade 5e, but it spends more time telling us about him.
Yeah, that's true. By why be upset about it, I
Any,
mean don't sound like that guy. True.
anyway, that video unironically tired me out, so
That's
I think
fine.
I'm gonna have to call it
That's
after
absolutely
this
fine, man.
video.
No worries at all. You can bow out for sure. I will continue.
Alright. Have a good week, everyone. Alejo, good luck.
Yeah. We'll say.
Goodbye!
Goodbye. All right. Can you tell that we're getting older? Where we actually do like need to like not do this sometimes. Oh, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Goodbye, Stealth Man, indeed. Oh, but this was the video that he chose too. It was gonna be like a good. It was gonna be like a good one to end off on, probably. Who knows? Damn, that makes me upset. All right, well,
D&D is not.
this is very loud as a video. All right, so this is Mystic Arts, and this is called How I Changed D&D to Make It Low Fantasy. Now, Aiden recommended us this video because it seemed like it was a little interesting. I don't know how much we'll watch of it, to be fair, because, hey, I am also an old man now, and I am tired. But we will see how this goes. Gen X, no such thing as old. Fair. True. It's okay. You know, die young and leave a great-looking corpse, right? Let's go! So, yeah. The Mystic Arts we've covered a couple of times, I want to say. If not, we will cover him a few more times, I think, here and there. But this is going to be interesting because D&D being low fantasy means less magic, probably more medieval-looking themes and stuff. We'll see. I would love to see a couple of things. Felt old since I was a kid. True. Same, dude. Hell yeah.
Not a low fantasy system. It's a game where a bard might try to seduce a dragon using jazz hands and a lute solo. But that doesn't mean you can't run a grounded, gritty, low magic story. If you want your low fantasy D&D game to feel low fantasy, the first thing you need to fix isn't the rules, it's the world. Magic's not gone, it's just rare, terrifying, and taboo. And the secret to actually doing it is getting your players to help you, getting them to be excited about not being dragon-seducing bards. Welcome to Mystic Arts, where we are still sad about missing Gen Con. My name is Tali, I'm a professional writer and director, and I've been DMing for over 10 years. If you're thinking about making a low magic setting, doing low fantasy in D&D, your gut might immediately jump to adding in loads of third-party content.
No. I mean, like, we've talked about it before of, like, low fantasy. We've had this idea utilizing, we've talked about it in a few other things. Utilizing something like what Dragon Age does in its Dragon Age Origins, there we go. Where mages are kept in the tower, like they're kept away from society. I have thought of, and I don't know if this is an original thought or not, but I've talked about it before, where those who utilize magic in an evil way could, or just in general, could be branded and tattooed to then be seen as mages, and thus are treated worse by most people. So they are in a party and just are distrusted more than anyone else because they are a risk. You make it so that the power to shape the world is not like I would say keep things kind of low level and all of that, just to make it so that you don't get that ramping of power and such, right? So that you can really keep that kind of low magic feel, so nobody's doing like fireballs every 2 seconds, you know? Or if they are, make it so that magic is unpredictable in a way, so it's a risk to use. Also, what I like to include is like magical exertion as a thing. So like you can utilize magic past your limit, but it takes a heavy toll on you, and it could ultimately kill you or make it so you could never use magic again. Just to make it so that there's risks to magic, right? That way it makes it so that people are less likely to use it unless absolutely necessary, because it's dangerous. It's something that should be looked at with suspicion and should be looked at with fear, right? That's how you make things low magic. You could have really powerful things, but they're feared because they are so powerful. The druids in the woods, their circle of druids are not ever encountered because nobody goes into those woods, because who knows what they would do to you. The swamps in the south, all of the creatures that dwell in there were actually people that were turned into those creatures by hags or something. You know, like, just make it so that everything involving magic is dangerous and known to be dangerous and could kill you very easily, you know? So that those who practice it are both, in a way, revered, but that's through fear. Anyway, eat the mages, true. True. Universe eats you if you use too much magic. Basically, I mean, it does. Pretty dice, yeah. I like this guy. This guy is fine, yeah. From what we've seen. I'd be one of the druids in the woods. Hell yeah, dude.
Or making homebrew systems. But before you do any of that, think about the setting just a little bit. Because if you lay your groundwork well with the setting, you might get yourself halfway there.
Yeah.
I think fundamental to any low fantasy setting is the presence of familiar norms and mundane crises. Things like famine, disease, economics, politics, or warfare. Make the normal people in your normal-ish world care about normal-ish things.
Yeah.
Wars to avoid, economies that are struggling, like trade routes, guilds, inflation. You can lean on real historical scenarios to serve as a mundane story engine for your world. For me, it's been mercantilism, colonialism, imperialism, any of the isms really. Recently, it's been Cold War era politics. I'll literally go read pages of historical events and then put them in my game.
Sure.
Like the American Civil War, Balkanization, the Cuban Missile Crisis, the French Revolution, the October Revolution, and the Wild West. Then I mix and match, change the names, and intermingle these things until my players don't know what's up or down. They just know the stakes feel like something that might have happened in the real world.
Yeah, I mean, excuse me. Pretty simple of a concept. All you got to do in order to create something that feels low stakes or not low stakes, but feels like it's a low stake thing as high, is to make things normal. Absolutely. Because if people are dealing with that magical beast every day that's coming through, all throughout the world, there's like undead that are popping up everywhere just because, all this is happening. Or like if you introduce fantastical elements, people are going to expect fantastical things to happen way more often as the norm. So it's just one of those, like, if you do your world building right, the actual magic could be as simple as, like, the most amazing magic that could be there could be as simple as there's a tree and it keeps producing fruit right after it gets picked. That's the entirety of, like, and that in itself is like the most magical, like, fantastical thing that's in your world, and it's causing war. Right? Because people want to take over that tree. They want to use it to feed their people. They want to take that territory, right? And the people who've been dealing with it, quote unquote, or at least utilizing it to thrive, are hoping to protect that secret, and that's it. Like, they have their promising kind of army and their fantastic wealth because they can sell more food, because they don't need to have as much of it because there is a plenty from the tree. And then it's just like, oh, well, somebody at some point saw the tree and then went, ooh, guess I'll go and tell somebody about this. And then they did, and then it came over to somebody who wants that tree, and they go, ooh, that sounds real good. I'll take that. It's not a dragon, terrorizing everything. It's not a beholder, creating entire layer out of the work of many different slaves. It's not illithids coming up from the below to corrupt and take over and all this kind of stuff. No, it's none of that. Space isn't real. Don't worry about it. It's it's just there's a tree and it produces a lot of fruit. That's pretty good, High magic settings have normal conflicts. settings have normal conflicts. True. Twilight Princess is a pretty good reason not to overdo it with magic. Also very true. I should play Twilight Princess again. That was a good game. Put the Emu War in your game? Absolutely, yes. They win every time. It's no question. Why not have the players be non-magical in a high magic setting? Then you would feel like ants among giants. Nobody wants to do that, though. I mean, that's not true. But what I would say is that would, I mean, you'd be mundane, having to go against a bunch of stuff that isn't. I don't know. It doesn't. I think it wouldn't appeal as well. I think you want to make it so that everybody's kind of on an equal playing field in terms of the setting. Just for like a D&D kind of thing. So the world feels like it should exist that way, rather than have it be like, oh, you just lucked out. You don't get to be magical at all, you know? If I want a more gritty D&D 5e, I would just use Ruins of Symbaroum. It has great corruption rules and harsher resting and healing rules. Cool. Hell yeah. There you go. The Emu War, when humans thought they could step up to dinosaurs. That is true. They learned.
This might seem obvious to some of you, but if you're watching this video and your experience of D&D is adventures like Tomb of Annihilation, where a lich creates a god-making machine that sucks the life force out of everyone in reality, well, you might not realize that you don't have to do that. You can make the enemy be capitalism. Brunley Mulligan does that for a few seasons of Dimension 20 every year. You control the world, so you can make the world mundane. If you do that, your players might still choose to be sorcerers and bards and clerics. And you might then think they don't fit with the rest. And you're correct. They don't. But you can lean into that discrepancy. Yeah. When the sorcerer casts Fireball, it might inspire terror in the locals.
Exactly.
And when the cleric heals the sick and wounded, it's a miracle. You can just let your players be miracle workers. You can also control the narrative around.
I didn't even think about that. Like, clerics and stuff literally become their own quote-unquote deities, you know? Like, it's, it's not that they are deities, but they get looked at as that way because they are doing miracles every fucking day. So, like, it's one of those things where you've got to keep the tone consistent, right? Because if everyone is not, amazed by these, feats of magic, whether they be, excuse me, whether they be, you know, quote-unquote mundane, like creating a flame from nothing, or as fantastical as, excuse me, oh goodness, burping a lot. There it goes. Okay, excuse me. It's as fantastical as healing the sick, which is something that we can't even do in modern day right now. We can't just go, you're healed. You know, somebody does that, that's a fucking miracle. Still. I mean, that's because magic doesn't exist in this world like that. Whether or not it does exist, we'll never be able to prove. But it doesn't exist like that. It's technology, right? Same kind of thing as well. You could do the whole, when they do technology in such a way, it's considered magic and all that kind of stuff. Like, you could have it be that you're from fucking space, and you come down and you start doing things, and they go, what the fuck? You're so magical. What the fuck? You're like a god from up there. What are you doing? That's crazy. I fear you. I love you. Whatever it might be, right? That's the way you can do it, but it's just like, when they run out of ammo for their gun, hey, guess what? They can't do their magic anymore. Ooh, what do they do now? The god is now no longer a god. Like in my world, everyone can learn magic, but not everyone does, so it's a mix of non-magical and magical. Well, yeah. But that doesn't make it so that, like, that makes it so that in your world, if somebody wanted to play as non-magical stuff, they could just get magic, right? If you're playing in if you're having the players be non-magical in a high magic setting, it's like, well, then they'll probably get magic at some point because they're gonna feel left out if they don't even have the access to it. And it's high magic where everything can be magical. It's like, well, why would I want to not be magical, right? I mean, it depends on the person, obviously, but, you know. Clerics probably have to make an extra effort to give the credit to their gods for their miracles, so they don't anger their gods by getting worshipped themselves. True. What the fuck? Okay. That was weird. Watch Together has finally started doing this whole thing where I get disconnected from it now. So that's pretty cool. That's absolutely what I want. Okay. Right. Oh, boy. Oh, there it goes.
Magic.
Oh, okay. We're back where we were. That's good. The fuck was that? Thanks, Watch Together.
You can make it taboo to cast magic. That's not an original idea. I see loads of posts from DMs and players online talking about that idea, and it's often met with friction. Typically
Why?
because there was, somewhere along the way, a communication issue. The DM decided that magic was taboo and just never told the players.
Oh, yeah, that's stupid. Don't do that. You're stupid. Don't do that. I think the non-magical character path is more for an expert challenge anyway. Fair enough, fair enough.
Bad DM. No, communicate. But if you
True.
do communicate it, it can be powerful. When Alton the Wizard casts Prestidigitation to clean his clothes, an NPC might look over in shock. Her heart rate shoots up as she says, "Don't cast spells around me, wizard." And when
True.
pressed on it, the NPC might say, "I was there when the Evoker Supreme brought the sky down onto City Plaza. I watched as meteors rained from the square and my fellow protesters were killed outside the gates of the Obsidian Palace." Whoa, there's lore! Taboo! This sort of stuff is great because A, it tells us that magic is taboo, and B, it tells us about a historical event, and C, it creates a bad guy. There was a wizard who cast Meteor Swarm on a group of protesters. Which historical event did I steal that one from? Comment below for a cookie. But if a wizard cast Meteor Swarm in that historical event, is this setting still low fantasy? Well, maybe not. It's a taste thing, right? Maybe for you, spells like Meteor Swarm shouldn't exist at all in a low fantasy setting.
Yeah, honestly, like, for me at least, from what I can think, I wouldn't want characters like, you know how D&D we have right now data to say, oh yeah, D&D doesn't really go past level 10 very often, and again, that is D&D Beyond data, so that might not be the case entirely for most people, but it seems to be a commonly accepted thing, so you understand where I'm coming from. And I wouldn't want that to be the case in something low fantasy anyway, because I feel like the higher you get in your spells, in your levels, the more crazy your spells literally get. So like, if you want to keep it at that low power kind of thing, that low fantasy, low power kind of thing, you don't want them getting up there to being able to cast Meteor Swarm, because that just kind of breaks the reality of it a little bit, at least to me. Because I don't want anybody, I want the most powerful thing to be a lightning bolt, really, you know? Or I guess, I don't know, I don't remember a lot of the spells at higher levels, but at 10th level, I think, if I recall correctly, your highest is like 6th or 5th, maybe? I'm not entirely sure. I can find out right now in order to, or just check myself immediately. 10th level wizard. Thank you, D&D Wiki Dot. That's the wizard spell list. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for. I want just wizard. I should have just put wizard, not level 10 wizard. Wizard. 5E. Because you think I'm talking about D&D 2024? You best believe I'm not. Yeah, 5th level. Okay, so it's like half. Okay, yeah. So, 5th level is the highest that you can get to, and 5th level is like Big B's hand. Cloud Kill does exist. I think that's honestly that's one of the most fantastical things that you should see in a low magic, low fantasy kind of game. The ability to just make a cloud kill a person, and by that I mean gas, make it so that it is World War One, and that they get giant hands. You know, I'm not using this fucking UA shit. Summon Draconic Spirit. That seems too much. But like Walls of Stone, Walls of Force, like those feel, at least to me, Teleportation Circle. These feel to me like the biggest thing that could happen. Transmute Rock, fucking Legend Lore. There you go. Modify Memory. Oh, fuck me. Hold Monster as well. Like this all seems to me like a good place to not progress from, because at 6th level we then get Create Undead, Create Homunculus, which, I mean, to be fair, if you want to have that be in your low magic, low fantasy kind of thing, you could still, it could still work. It's just that that's probably the most powerful wizard in the world. Somebody who can create, like, raise the dead. Not a lich, but literally just a wizard that can control the dead. Right? And they can't do a lot of it, but it is a lot to just bring some guys up, you know? Create Homunculus. Yeah, Globe of Invulnerability seems a little much to me. But yeah, I don't know. Wall of Ice, that's okay. Sunbeam, okay. You know, so like, at least to me, let's just keep it to 10th level at the max. That's the max you can get to in my low fantasy. And I would absolutely go for the taboo stuff, for sure. Magic is taboo? For sure, dude. Not looked upon favorably. You can influence a man's mind with magic. Why would I want you casting any sort of spell around me when I don't know if you're trying to make me do something or not? No, no, no. No wizards in this city. You will stay outside of the walls, and don't you dare come anywhere near me, for I wish not for you to cast a hex upon me and make me let you in.
Maybe that's just tickling your funny bone in a way that it doesn't tickle mine. But what defines low fantasy for me is the fact that one wizard cast Meteor Swarm. The story doesn't go on to say, and then all the wizard protesters cast Counterspell and disintegrated the flying wizard, and then everyone cast spells and it was a huge battle. No, the protesters were ordinary. The Emperor in the Palace was ordinary. The wizard was like a mega weapon. He was unique, and as a result, terrifying. Let's get back to that idea about third-party content. Because I dismissed it earlier to talk about the setting, but I think it's because I think the setting can be very telling about taste. Because once you've decided what low fantasy means to you, whether spells like Meteor Swarm exist at all or not, then you can look at how to bring out that element at your table, that third-party element, because you definitely can. In the core rulebooks of D&D, there is only, I don't know, like 40 pages in here that aren't specific to character customization. The core system is so dead simple that you can do anything to it.
True.
Roll 1d20, add a number. There's basic stats, skills, and actions. There's equipment, feats, and conditions, and really, that's about it. The rest is more specific, and you, as the DM, if your players are up for it, can start messing around with that stuff a little. You can find the kind of third-party stuff that makes your vision come together and play with it. Like the sponsor of today's video, Injuries and Vile Deeds.
Ah, nice transition. Of course, of course. I mean, I saw the whole, like, contains paid promotion thing, so I was wondering, but yeah, okay. Fair enough. There's a homebrew variant rule for 3.5 that caps the characters' levels at 6 and has them gain a feat for every 5,000 XP they gain after that, called E6, I think. Ooh, I like that. That sounds cool. Yeah, so they get more skilled in a way, with their feats and stuff, but they stay kind of low power, quote unquote, or at least the highest power of anything is like level 6, which is cool. So it makes everything feel a lot more punchy, at least in my mind. Very, very cool. I like it a lot.
It features monsters, backgrounds, NPCs, and feats and more to make your combat grittier and bloodier. There's also nasty subclasses in here like the Champion of Pain Fighter. The artwork in here is gorgeously gory and just the right kind of gross.
Okay.
If you're a fan of the combat aesthetics in The Witcher, or the kill animations in God of War, Shadow of Mordor, injuries and vile deeds will be a perfect addition to your game. Link below. My main D&D game that I've been running for about a year now is about a group of regular people. A former mayor, a police officer, a criminal, a member of parliament, a lawyer, a construction worker, and a journalist. But it's not like it's Call of Cthulhu, they do have classes. Scholar, wizard, rogue, summoner, ranger, warlord, and monk. They're venturing into the dangerous Elmwood, searching for lost settlers, mapping the forest, and all that kind of stuff, and it's got a lot of dungeon crawling and hex crawling. So, it's still D&D. Through this adventure so far, they've been dealing with the struggle of being ordinary people placed in extraordinary circumstances.
Cool.
The things in the forest have powerful magic, and they are terrifying because of it. To my players, it seems like the stuff going on in the forest is some eldritch, esoteric nonsense, and the fate of the world might just rest on it. But the magic feels terrifying. I'd say it feels very low fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you don't have, like, the way that you... or something like, there's a board game called, shit, what is it called? Fuck. I can see it in my head, and it's that one where you're, like, basically just people with rocks, and you have to fight and kill the monster, and the monster's, like, so much more powerful than you, and you have to, like, work together to, kill it. Oh, God. What is that game? Kingdom Death Monster, I think is what it's called, right? Kingdom Death Monster? Hold on. Must confirm. Kingdom. Death Monster. Yes, I'm right. Okay. Kingdom Death Monster is where you play as a bunch of just people who are they just have to use their fucking sticks and rocks and stuff and fight monsters as they keep getting harder and harder. And I've only seen a little bit of it. I should actually watch people play that game because that seems incredible. But it seems very low fantasy to me, even though the monsters themselves are like chimeras and shit, you know? Like things of legend, basically. And because they don't have the flashy magics or like really good weapons and all that kind of stuff to deal with it, it gives it a very different feel. It gives it a more horrifying feel of, oh, we could die at any fucking moment. That's just bad, you know? Doing that in D&D is harder to do just inherently because of the magic that is especially with subclasses, the magic that's given to the classes themselves. But if you make it so that they are low level, you make it so that again, magic is something that is a scary thing, and utilizing it is one of those last resorts, right? That you know, it makes it so that it feels like it's that low low fantasy where every decision matters, you know? And even when they can use magic, it's like, oh shit, I can do it out here, but I can never let them know inside of like the city walls that I know magic to such a degree that I could kill a monster. We killed it with our swords and our spears and stuff, and our axes. The burns and everything were because of torches. Like, it's not... I didn't do magic, I promise, you know? I didn't do magic. I thought every cop was a criminal and all the sinners saints. That's true. Don't ever think otherwise. This guy's a lot more easygoing, which I like. Oh yeah, this guy's good. I actually enjoy what he's what he talks about usually. So far. 1E is what you play if you want to be able to die at any moment. Yeah, or low level anything really, or Call of Cthulhu, or any of that kind of stuff. In Devils and Dice, Zeke was always in danger, being a human in Dis, which had the same feel. Yeah, absolutely. You kill the monster with your magic, then you chop it up with your axe. Yes, exactly. It's the way that you cover it up, for sure.
But we're playing this in D&D, so how did I do it? First, I accepted the fact that since I wanted to run D&D, and not some other system, I couldn't go too far. This was set in the same world as all my other D&D campaigns after all. I wanted to play a game with dragons and owlbears, so I contrived an excuse to have that in my low fantasy game. I said civilization is like Regency-era England in terms of tech and society. But we're out in the boonies, here in Loggers County, where it's more like the Wild West. It's a frontier where laws are written in blood. And nobody from the cities cares about this place because there's no money to be made here.
Sure.
And nobody important lives here. So nobody knows about the crazy stuff in the forest. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then I had their backstories and their one-on-one sessions we played take place largely in civilized lands where things like the law or money or politics dominated their lives. And when they arrived out in the boonies and were surprised to learn there are owlbears and ankegs out here, that was the moment it clicked for me. It was a contrived reason, sure, but it was simple and elegant. Outside of the forest is the normal world. Inside of the forest, a whole world of danger and fantasy.
Yeah, just because, and I'm not going against him in this, just because something is contrived doesn't mean that it's necessarily a bad thing. Contrivances exist in most media, right? You can find minor contrivances here and there. It's whether or not it's too much too much coincidence and contrivance, I guess, because there is a certain level of which you go, I don't know about that, we all kind of have different points at which that affects us. Obviously the only time where it's really bad is when that we could all agree on is when it's like an actual plot hole of some sort, right? Something that is forced in such a way in order to actually continue making the story work a certain way when it should potentially work a different way if it was not for that plot hole or forced contrivance, right? So I guess the better way is coincidences are more the thing that we can all kind of go for and go, yeah, that's usually okay. But when they stack up to become a contrivance, it can sometimes be incredibly detrimental, right? But utilizing those things, because as long as you have good reasoning for it, it might be a little contrived, but it still at least is effective. Right, it still at least does the job that it was set out to do. And for this, I mean, I feel like, yeah, I can see and understand and accept that a high society town does not give a shit about outside on the frontier, the boonies, as he calls it, doesn't give a shit about that because they don't have to deal with it. They just get the spoils of whatever comes from there, or they just get the spoils from when a new city gets erected there at some point, It's not like they have to go out there to deal with it at all. So, like, why would they give a shit? And yeah, if messages get back of, there are monsters in the forest, well, they can say, oh, that's just frontier superstition. Right? They probably just got killed by a bear. Something like that. So I can believe that. So you just got to come up with good reasons.
That nobody seems to care about since it's only bothering the rustics who live here.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just that. I set limits before the campaign began. We had just killed Tiamat in a previous adventure, and when that session was done, a little bit earlier than expected, since, all we did that night was one, albeit long, fight. At the end of it, I gave him a handout about the next campaign, about this new Loggers County campaign, and in it, I suggested they try to pick classes that didn't have spellcasting. At least most of them. I was okay with like 2 or 3 spellcasters out of 7 players. I suggested they play from a list of species I thought would fit in with the rest of the setting, but I didn't put any hard limit. I left it open enough, saying that anyone wanting to stray from these suggestions could just come and talk to me. I trusted them enough to do that, and my players largely agreed. There was a ranger, there was someone who eventually became an arcane trickster, and one player picked wizard, with the understanding that he'd be playing the wizard. The very archetypical mage stuff, which made him somehow feel lower fantasy by leaning into the classic style of a wizard studying spells. He felt more like a scientist than a sorcerer at the table. I've also been less lenient on these kinds of restrictions. Like in the adventure I prepared on stream, Operation Short Fuse, I explicitly invited players with the understanding that they were not allowed to play any character that got any form of spellcasting. That was a line I didn't budge on. Playing was contingent on following it. I felt okay doing that since it was a short campaign, only 10 sessions or fewer. But with my main game, I wanted to make sure that players could love their characters long term.
Yeah, I mean, again, maybe it's just me, and maybe it's just the way that having a group and having been in groups that are pretty much just cool with whatever the DM really wants to run, and we all kind of just talk it out and agree already, basically. From the beginning, we're able to buy into these things very quickly. This doesn't feel like anything novel, and I don't know why it is presented as something that's kind of novel, where the DM makes a limit of a rule somehow, says, hey guys, do you want to play this? And then they go, yes, or no, or let's talk about it. Maybe I can do something that's slightly outside of this. Like that. Is this just not the norm? It is the norm, I thought, but I know everybody kind of, says stuff that makes me feel like it's not the norm. So I'm just like, yeah. With the Devils and Dice example, I don't think you need to make a setting low magic to have a consistent sense of danger. No, of course not. Yeah, absolutely. What I'm saying though is that to have the stakes feel like you could die at any moment, as a general theme, having it be lower fantasy and having it be lower level is where you want to really strive to be, I would think. Because fantastical magic, healing is not something that should be relied on in that kind of instance, and it's just easier to get into that mindset when like a hit could kill you, rather than you are in a place full of danger, but you are able to be alive in it,
So I decided to be more lenient. You gotta play this
Got distracted thinking about Judge Holden since the Wild West was mentioned. That's fine.
stuff by ear. But I also gave them a carrot, not just a stick. Yes, I limited their options from the player's handbook, but I wanted them on my side. So I offered them to pick from a selection of normally somewhat off-limits third-party options. I said they could, if they wanted to, pick one of 2 classes from Benjamin Huffman, the Scholar or the Pugilist. They could pick Taran Pound's Vanguard, or obviously the Mystic Arts Warlord. Link for these classes in the description.
Oh, I guess he made the Warlord. Is it? Don't tell me now. Somebody can tell me this if you've ever seen it. If it's in the description, in fact, I'm gonna go check. But if it's just the 4E Warlord, but like in 5E, I'm gonna be like, I'm just gonna go, oh, okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with doing that. It's just it would be funny to me, is all. Let me copy and paste and hope it doesn't.
D&D is
it's so loud. Okay. Let me find it. The Warlord. It's a Patreon thing. Ah. Join to unlock. Yeah, I can't do that. Okay. Well, regardless, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I do not know. But it would make me smile and laugh a little bit if it was the 4E class just put into 5E.
One of them wanted to play a summoner, something we had back in Pathfinder, but we didn't have one for 5th edition, so we decided to make one. We're still working on it, but we'll let you know whenever we finish.
Sure.
This way, I got them excited to choose from new, unavailable player options. It's a lot harder being bummed that they can't all be sorcerers or bards, when they could instead be excited about being some class they normally don't get to play, and in the case of many of them, classes they might not have heard of. And these classes were all lower fantasy, no spellcasting, more martial or intelligence based. Same for the additional subclasses. In injuries and vile deeds, your players might be tickled pink by the idea of playing a Path of the Blood Reaver Barbarian. I also invited my players to use the firearm rules, available on our Patreon, which many of them jumped on. Suddenly, they were picking homebrew martial classes, shooting guns, and that was new and exciting, but still familiar, since it was the same D&D campaign setting we've been playing in for a decade.
Sure.
Which is kind of the key here. You gotta get your players on board. If the appeal of a low fantasy game appeals only to you, then it shouldn't be surprising when they don't want to play. You are presenting a game, and they might just opt out. That's fair, that's their prerogative as a player. So if you want them to opt in, give them a carrot. Fun new stuff to get excited about. Get them invested and engaged by offering new options for them.
Yeah. I mean, this is all pretty standard, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with this at all. There's nothing, that I think is, but I honestly, this video is just good. It just is. I would highly suggest you go and watch it yourself, without the commentary and everything that we've been doing. Like, it's just, I would highly suggest it. It's simple stuff, to be fair, too. Again, it seems like it's a novel concept that we can all just, like, I don't know, talk with our players and stuff and make sure that we want to play the same things and, like, we're presenting this to people and all that kind of, like, it's not a novel concept. That's the thing. This is, like, I want to say this is, like, a month or two old, this video. So, like, even now, we're still having videos that are, like, presenting this in a way that I feel like we should all know at this point, / we have all known, right? So, I don't know. It's just, it's weird to me, I guess, at this point, that we haven't, as a group of people who enjoy this hobby, all just understood that we need to present things that allow our players to buy into it, and if they don't want to, that's fine, as well as we need to talk to our players, and our players need to talk to us about things before we even start, just so that we know that people want to play the thing, right? I don't know. It's one of those things that just it makes me, like, very tired, because it's like, yes, this is good that you are saying this. I feel like we all know this, though, you know?
Maybe you might realize as you're watching this video that a couple of homebrew classes aren't going to be enough to create the low fantasy campaign you're thinking about. Maybe you just don't want owlbears and dragons. Maybe you're thinking about playing the wrong game. I hate it when people tell me that, since I keep coming back to this damn game. I love it, but there's a plethora of systems that don't feature owlbears.
True.
And they might work way better in a sort of low to no fantasy setting. In order of fantasyness, I present Dragonbane, the One Ring 5e version.
I've heard good things.
There is Pendragon, and finally, Call of Cthulhu. Maybe that's more your speed. I don't know. I'm just a humble advisor. The thing that makes RPGs so wonderful is that at its core, it's just a conversation between players and game masters. And systems are typically very modular, malleable, and adjustable. Go play with them. Try new ones, take the ones you like, and stick them into your game, to the game you're playing. Alternatively, you could bounce from RPG to RPG, and maybe you'll discover your opinions on what you want are too developed to be influenced by what some other game designer thought was cool. Then,
this is what we need to have being said more. Thank you. Yes. It's just like... this is all such simple shit. I don't know. I made myself sad because it's like it's just so simple that we could just do this. Yes, agreed, 100%. And I'm not bashing him, by the way. I'm not bashing him in the slightest. That it's a simple point. It's just it's so easy to just say this stuff and just to understand it, and it's just like when I see it and when I hear it, it's a breath of fresh air because it's like, yeah, you understand. Good. Why do so many people not? Like that previous video. I just don't know. Medieval Cthulhu is what I want. Do it. That sounds awesome. I actually fucking love that idea.
then you gotta go mix and match because you've just discovered that you have an artistic vision. And if you kill it, you're a murderer. Go chase your artistic vision. Bring your players to the board by pitching it and workshopping it with them because they are your co-conspirators. Together, you're a gang. You're blessed to have RPGs as your hobby. You don't need to fight Unreal Engine to make games. It's all in your head. Just make shit up and see what happens. Build a whole vision together by mixing and matching the stuff you like. Not for this game or for that game, for your game.
True.
The one that exists at your table. And that's where we'll pick it up next time. This channel is run by me and my girlfriend. And if you want to support us directly, consider joining our Patreon. Patrons get access to our Discord, and Adept members get the Warlord, firearms, and a couple of dungeons perfectly suitable for low fantasy D&D. If you're feeling especially generous, you might like the video, comment, share, or subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when we release new videos. Until next time, keep studying the mystic arts.
Here's your low fantasy.
Off! Alright, I have to admit, I like the little interjections of little humor things. Alright. I'm not a completely heartless asshole. That's kind of fun. Yeah. Ah, it's a good video. It's a very good video. Go and send that to your grandma. She'll finally understand why it's okay to play other things than D&D. God damn it, Grandma. You need to understand. I guess he died. I assume that's his last video. That's true. Exactly. That is his last video. Okay. That was just a nice one to end off on, honestly. Like, that just was refreshing, is what it was. Again, I made myself upset and sad because it's like, why is it, it's such a simple thing that we shouldn't need to say, but it is something that needs to be said of like, hey, it's okay to like play something else that fits more to your style. Just please just do it. You know, like we can do that. We can change how these games work. We can change how the system is to fit our needs better. And if that doesn't work, we can play something else. And have a conversation with your players. Have a conversation with your DM to make sure that everyone wants to play the same thing. It's so simple, man. It's so simple. Anyway. For those of you who don't stick around for the comment portion, I'm going to read comments, but thank you for coming anyway. We appreciate you, of course, for sticking it out and hanging around. I'm going to move on to comments now, because that is the time. In fact, I didn't even open a new tab to get comments until right the fuck now. Good job, me. Good fucking job. Regardless, wait, I thought there was more than one of these. Am I crazy? Is there only the one comment? Oh my god. That's true. There is. Hey, okay. Works for me. So, here we go. If I missed a comment, do let me know, of course. I'll pick it up in the next one, but here is comments. So, last week, Unirico says, it is, okay, it's only slightly related, but as for city builder video games, I can heavily recommend Foundation. It's not nearly as punishing as I've heard Banished can be, and it can be. It very much can be. I've never succeeded in that game. But I cannot think of another game in the genre that has cities grow as organically as Foundation does, as it doesn't use a grid, and all pathways are desired paths, growing the more they are being used by your villagers. It's wonderful. Thank you. I will look into Foundation, for sure. Your comment is missing. Hold on. So YouTube sometimes holds comments. You're not in the... So you're not in my held. Unless I missed it somehow. No, I don't have your comment. I only have Unit Rico's. So, yeah. Unfortunate. Yeah, that's literally, that's all I got. Your last one was 11 days ago, Timothy, so I don't see it, unfortunately. Yeah, that's all I got. So, regardless, thank you for your comment. Try checking the newest first for the missing comment. Well, so that's... Hey, there it is. We're good. I got it. What the fuck? That was weird. We're good. Okay, I'll read it. We're good. It didn't need it. It was my fault. We're good. Okay. So, Timothy, you left a comment as well. Here it is. Why did that not show up? So, it should have just showed up because I didn't do anything to it. I just thumbs upped it. I didn't, like, hard it yet, so it just went away. I fucking hate this. Like, this fucking AI bullshit. I do not need an AI bot to... Wait, is this for this comment, or is this... Hold on. When I do that, is that... I just want to make sure. Okay, yeah. Okay. I think it's for that feature itself. I do not need an AI to tell me how to respond to a comment. Thanks. Please let me remove this somehow. It's only 100? 100? This somehow. Inauthentic. Thanks. Cool. Alright. Hopefully that wasn't towards your comment, Timothy. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. Because that would be this. Yeah, okay. Anyway. Yeah, thanks, Chiral. I didn't realize that was something that YouTube did. It shouldn't have, because I didn't do anything to, like, interact with the comment, so, regardless. Medieval Cthulhu, but instead of cosmic horror, it's just a setting where all the myths are true, and that's bad? True. Yes, that'd be great. Okay. So Timothy, put in, hello, bros, new lore, title, Poison Partner. Cornell spent 2 days in recovery from the Bullywug ambush. Despite being split from his party, he wasn't alone, spending the time with the friendly turtle Duskborn. The two waited for the next hunting party of grungs to pass so Cornell could try to ask for aid. Once the Dragon King's strength returned, he made an offering to the swampland in Duskborn's house. Excuse me while I take a drink. There we go. Guided by Duskborn's instructions, Cornell placed food on the altar and burned a wooden idol in his hand while chanting in his original language, in this case, Draconic. Soon after, the pressure hanging over him zapping his power was lifted. The swampland is willing to trust you now. However, if you cause harm to the swampland or anyone favored by it, you will suffer greatly, said Duskborn. About a day later, a grung hunting group finally came, and Duskborn called them over. The grungs studied the pink dragon, unsure of him. Duskborn, greetings, my friends. I want to introduce you to someone that needs your help. This is King Cornell of the Moon Valley. His party was attacked by the hostile Bullywug clan to the west. Cornell bowed his head. The grungs thought about it for a minute. They brought a member of their group that spoke common to continue the talk. Grung, you were attacked? Cornell, yes, I'm on an important quest for my kingdom's future. I was told your clan is the most powerful in the swampland. You know these parts the best, right? Grung, absolutely. We grungs fear nothing. Our poison keeps us strong. The bullywugs of the west have tried to take our hunting ground for many years. Their loyalty to the Black Dragon grows their ego. Quite annoying. If you want our help, you must see our leader, the Great Golden Death. Cornell, can you take me to them? Grung, we will. Be warned. The Golden One's poison kills all. Cornell said goodbye to Duskborn, thanking him for the help, leaving with the grungs to their home. Once at the grung settlement, Cornell saw a camp as big as a city. Grungs of all colors everywhere. Red, green, blue, purple. A few Kuato and trolls lived there as well. The hunting party sent word throughout the camp about the new guest, and soon crowds were looking on. Grung. The Golden One welcomes you. He awaits you at the biggest treehouse. Watch your step. Cornell made his way up the stairs. The smell of toxic fumes filled the air. Upon reaching the top, there was a grand treehouse, the size of a palace. One of the grung guards opened the door. Inside, a bright golden grung sat on a throne. 2 red grungs at his side. Red grung. Bow to the Great Golden One. Cornell bowed as low as possible. Gold grung. Our dragon asks for our help. How puzzling. Dragonkind has not treated the grung well over the generations. The age-old black dragon, spawn of hags, claims the swampland dishonorably, forming alliances with many tribes against us, falsely giving favor from the swampland by killing us for offerings because we would not bow. And now another dragon asks for our help. Cornell. I'm not aligned with the Black Dragon. In fact, I stand against them. I am here to rid this land of their influence. I need their power. The Gold Grung stared at Cornell, deep in thought. The Gold Grung got up and stood face to face with Cornell, who was still bowing. The Grung's deadly poison-soaked skin inches away. Golden Grung. Why should I believe these words? I could just kill you and hang your corpse outside the village as warning to the other dragons. Cornell. Test me. I will do anything to prove myself. Gold Grung. Really? Very well. As you may know, the greatest gift given to us grungs is our vast set of wonderful poison. Each color of grung has a different toxin. The green poison attacks the inside, causing great pain and intense vomiting. The red poison attacks the outside, causing horrible rashes, blisters, and rot. The blue poison immobilizes and causes sleep. The purple poison attacks the mind, causing confusion. allowing us to control weak minds, and in large doses, complete insanity. You will endure our poison one by one, and if you survive, you will prove your worth. Cornell thought things over. The rainbow sword made from great worms flashed in his mind. Cornell. I accept, Goldgrung. You show great bravery. Your kingdom should be proud. Green first. A green grung squeezed their hand over a bucket, filling it with bright green fluid. Cornell was told to drink. He did so. The poison took effect right away. It felt like white-hot daggers were driven into the dragon's gut. He fell backward. A minute later, his insides become outsides. He continued to purge for 3 hours as the Goldgrung watched. Goldgrung. Well done. Red next. 2 grungs tossed a bucket of red poison from an upper floor of the treehouse, right onto Cornell. The dragon yelled in agony, rashes and blisters forming all over his body. He sat for another hour, getting soaked with more poison every few minutes until the Goldgrung said he passed. The king was flat on his back, shaking and dizzy. Goldgrung. Impressive. You wish to continue? Cornell. Keep going. Goldgrung. I think you have earned some relief. The grungs gave Cornell antidotes for the red and green poison, and the dragon was able to stand. Goldgrung. Purple next. Cornell drank a bucket of purple poison. He soon fell into a state of deep confusion. His eyes became blurry. Goldgrung. Your body is strong, yes, but how strong is your willpower? Punch yourself. Cornell's right arm shook, but he did nothing. Goldgrung. Jump! Cornell's legs trembled, and he fell on his face, but he did not jump. Goldgrung. Antidote now. The grungs gave the antidote, and Cornell's mind became clear. Goldgrung. The last one should be easy compared to the rest. All you have to do is stay awake. Blue next. Cornell drank the bucket of blue poison. Soon, he was unable to move and became drowsy. They sat for an hour. Cornell managed to stay awake, and they gave him the blue antidote. The Dragon King slowly got to his feet, heavily exhausted. His body still healing from the red poison. Cornell. Have I earned your trust? Goldgrung. Indeed you have. We will help you. What do you need of us? Cornell. Can you help me find my party and the Black Dragon? Goldgrung. We will consult our scouts and maps to find your friends. In the meantime, go rest in the village. Keep rubbing the red antidote on your body, and to fully clear up the damage, we will talk soon. Cornell. Thank you. I promise you the Black Dragon will never bother you again. That's all I got. Have a nice day. Thank you. And thank you for the comment, as always. Apologies that I nearly missed it, but YouTube weird that time for some reason. Anyway, that's all the comments. Thank you very much. It's time for me to now tell you all about our wonderful things. Yes, things. You know, the things that are like, hey, we have things. And then you go, ooh, what are those things? And I go, well, I'm going to tell you. So, like, you can just, I mean, I'll tell you. So, like, you don't have to ask. You know, but, I mean, I guess I'll just, tell you. So, we'll get here with this page. Hey, we have a website. Over on that website, in fact, if I were to show you right here, you can go here and actually see the schedule and everything. If there's any changes, there's really no changes usually, except for when I cancel, as well as previous videos and such, the current campaign video, all this kind of stuff here. The audio only versions of the podcast, a link to the Discord server, in fact, all that stuff on the home, more stuff about us. It's very, very little. We don't have a lot to us. Our guests that we've had, the current TTRPG campaigns, as well as the audio player here, as well as all the past ones. Highly recommend, of course, that first major campaign. things for digital distractions, all of these fucking things you can go through, hand time, all that kind of stuff, everything that we've played so far, as well as this page, the Support Us Further page. If you wish to, again, this is not an obligation, but you can support us more than just your subscriptions or your likings of the videos or your comments even. You could support us financially. How could you do that, you ask? Clearly bewildered, never having heard the spiel before. Well, I dare say, dear viewer, who is bewildered, I will tell you. We have a Patreon and a Ko-fi, or Ko-fi, however you might call it. If you wish to, you could become a table flipper over on Patreon or on Ko-fi, whatever. Becoming a table flipper allows you to what the fuck is this? What is this? Allows you to see things early. In fact, right now, if you wanted to see the newest Sunrise in Sin City, oh, there it is. You could go and listen to that or watch it right the fuck now, because at the moment, session 12 is the only thing you could see. For as little as $1 a month, you can have early access to things, as well as the ability to be in our table flipper only section on Discord. Do we talk a lot in it? No, but you do get a discount code, a special discount code for you for the shop thing that we got, the fourth wall shop. That's the words. That you can use on anything. So there is that, I guess. I don't know. You don't want that? That's fine. You don't have to use it. It's cool. We can just like hang out sometime, I guess, because sometimes I run games for our table flippers, and also sometimes I speak to you. Sometimes, only sometimes. Anyway, little as $1 a month, and you can get access to all that stuff. Thank you goes out to our tier 4s, that being Steely, Draco Kraken, and Rick, aka Unit Rico, for all of that cash that you've been giving us for so long now. We appreciate you immensely, and you help keep the lights on for the show. As well as a thank you goes out to Crimson Rose in tier 2. Thank you. And a thank you goes to our tier 1 contributor. Everything that you give, we accept with grace and thankfulness. So, but again, it is not an obligation. Think about yourself and your own financial situation before you think about buying stuff. But saying that, buying stuff, whoa, you can do that over on our fourth wall shop. In fact, if you weren't around for the last episode, you could go and get the keychains. Ooh, they're sick. Honestly, they're really cool. Aiden and Boo have theirs now. And if they were here, they would say, yo, they look sweet and they look clean. They're really cool. I like them a lot. I have them literally right here in front of me. You can even listen to them jingle, jangle, jingle in a second here. Kind of. You can kind of hear them jingle, jangle, jingle because my noise canceling has made it so you can't. Regardless, jingle, jangle, jingle, they could. And you could own them for as little as $15 a piece. And if you get all 3 of them at once, you can use the discount code. Where's my discount code? You can use the discount code Crew Keys for 20% off all 3 together. Crew Keys. And if you're a table flipper, there's a different promo code that you can get to get other discounts and such. I think a part of that is free shipping on like anything. So go use that if you wish. Either way, that's there. The dice, our custom dice sets, the coasters, the mugs, and this small mouse pad. Those are all things that are there. More things to come as they get designed and created. So enjoy them if you wish. They're all out there. Hey, you're a DM. You could just describe the sound of jangling keyring ornaments. That's true. I could. That's true. The key to your heart? No. That'll never be for sale. Thank you. They sound like acrylic hitting acrylic and metal. It's a slight thump and clink is what it is. So, and it's really depends on the rapidity of the jingle jangle jingle. And for me, that rapidity was, I would say, a 2. Anyway, regardless, Fourth Wall Shop is there. You can access it at the link in the description or through our website. You can donate to us directly through PayPal if you wish. That is an option. There's also the fact that we are affiliated with Humble Bundle, so utilizing this little link here if you were to click it, or if you use the link in the description and click that or copy paste it, whatever, you can give us a little bit of a, oh, what is this? Digimon Story Time Stranger? Now, I haven't heard of this, and I'm deeply interested immediately because it's Digimon. Anyway. Oh, also, apparently Sonic Racing Crossworlds is very cool, but it's really expensive right now. So we're waiting. But regardless, you could, anything that you get through that link can give us a little bit of a kickback. In fact, let's see. Do we have anything that's like, let me look at the bundles for books just to see if there's any TTRPG stuff. Because I actually missed out on that last one that had like all the mythical stuff and everything. Oh yeah, the Warhammer RPG starter bundle is here. You have any interest in that? That's a good one. Swords and Wizardry RPG mega bundle here as well. And there is the X-Crawl Extreme Dungeon Crawl Super Bundle, in fact, as well, if you're into dungeon crawls. So, like, using the link in our description, if you go out and get some of those things, I believe, it gives us a bit of a kickback, though I'm not entirely sure that the link works in that way. Regardless, we're still affiliated, so if you just go and buy them straight up, that's cool, man. If you don't give us money through, like, using our link and stuff, and you just get these on your own, that's also fucking sick, dude. You're helping charity and such, you know? And also, like, you get cool stuff. So, do whatever you want. Like, I'm not your dad, but I can at least tell you about things, okay? Anyway, Humble Bundle. Very cool site. One of my favorite sites. Regardless, we are also affiliated with Drive-Thru RPG Fiction Comics and Cards. Right now, I'll go over to Drive-Thru RPG to tell you all about Drive-Thru RPG, since it's the most relevant. Looks like Shadowrun is on sale right now, using the link in our description, and I know this is a fact, just because I assume that it is, again. Using the link in our description, within 15 days of purchasing, or using that link, if you purchase something, you will give us a little bit of a kickback. That is how it works. That is at least something that I can understand that was very clear in the fine print. Pact of the Yellow King. That's a Cthulhu reference, my guy. Yo, cool. But yeah, you can get a lot of community-made content, as well as some official PDFs and such. Like I said, looks like Shadowrun's 40% off for a limited time for some things, so, like, if you're interested in Shadowrun 6, I assume, 6th edition, you can go there. Though, I don't know anything really about it. Either way. Do you think YouTube didn't like the vomit? Probably. Regardless, any of that could be gotten using the link in our website. If you go to each of those ones as well, that's also the within 15 days thing. And you can either get fiction, comics, or cards. You can even see them over here. So check it all out. Check none of it out. Oh, I don't care. It's fine. Do whatever you want. I'm not your dad. Okay. That's it. That's everything. Thank you so very much for joining us this evening. I very much appreciate you. I know that Aiden also very much appreciates you. And if Boo was here, he would say he thinks you're okay. Regardless. We are getting closer to Spooky Month, Spookoween, if you would. Spooky Ween is getting close, and sooner or later we're going to do a Garabingo in celebration, of course, because the most horrific thing we can do is give Garabay attention. So we'll do a Garabingo soon. Maybe not next stream, but soon, right? And we'll see how it goes. But regardless, again, as I keep saying, regardless, thank you very much for joining us. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll see you next week for more of the show. Goodbye for now, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye. See ya.